Hello, how is everyone doing? Maybe I should add some light so I don't look quite so much like a ghost. I look like I was about 3 weeks dead there. That's not a good look. How are people doing? So, I feel like today is a pretty good day. Not like my travel days. My travel days kind of sucked. We'll tell the story about that one. So I hope everyone's got a drink. I've got something here. I've got a sort of beverage here. Just gonna have a drink there, and yeah. Somebody's saying, "Where's the cowboy hat?" The cowboy hat's in the other room. I'd have to go get that. Maybe I'll have to go get that. Not right away. I'll go get that when I've got a moment. But maybe that'll be something I got to get. So people are asking for the neti pot story. I will tell the neti pot story. It's still not ready to go, but I tried to get it ready to go to show the to show you guys. Unfortunately, I ran into some wrinkles, which is that it's the first time I'm actually doing one of those, and so it just didn't work out all that well. I'm gonna have to do some fiddling. I'm gonna have to do some learning. I'm gonna have to, sort of figure things out. But I can possibly show you guys a little bit about how that worked. Give me a second. Let me just download that. Let me download it, and then I can try to show you the how that worked. So what's everyone drinking here? Is everyone got something sort of good going on? Hopefully people are doing all right. I see I'm a little lame, but I have a tall glass of iced lemon water. I will let you in on a secret. That's not lame at all. I actually really kind of like lemon water, so nothing wrong with that in the slightest. So I see matcha tea. That's great. Iced coffee in Kansas. I'm not a big coffee person, but that's a good one. New Jersey here, drinking water. Rum and Coke this evening, a classic. Drinking pink Moscato in Edmonton. I'm a fan of that. Fizzy water, nice. Ooh, somebody's making me envious. Sweet corn tamales for dinner because the market sold out of the other kinds. Root beer for drink. I am just straight up envious that you've got a market that does tamales because, yeah, that's straight up awesome. Basil water in Florida. I can tell you that while I was so Uncivil Law and I were out, we went and stopped at a little sort of Scotch place, and one of the things they had was a basil based cocktail, and it was really good. So I thought that was fantastic. Watermelon and lime fizzy water, interesting combination. I didn't imagine those two going together, but fantastic. So yeah, it's ginger ale. Mrs. Runkle is feeling a little bit sick, so I got her some ginger ale. She's got some of that. I see somebody saying people sell tamales in the parking lots where I live. Lol. I've been to places like visited where that's the case, and I couldn't live there because I would get so fat. I would just order tamales all the time. I'd just be walking by and they'd be like tamales, and they'd be like, yes. Weirdly, in Texas, what I saw was piñatas, lots and lots of piñatas. So that lots and lots of piñatas. Ginger beer in Tampa. Which brand? Because ginger beer is amazing. I love a good ginger beer. Hope you corrected the spelling of whiskey. There's complexities on that one. So it looks like we've got some gifted memberships in the chat. That's awesome. I'm trying to track that. So that was Chuck Wilson. Thank you very much for 10 gifted memberships. And Rabbit, thank you very much for 5 gifted memberships. Much appreciated. All right. So let me see if I can bring up, because people were wondering about the, they were wondering about the sort of cricket stuff here. So let me see if I can successfully bring that up. I tried to record it. So here we go. This is the cricket in. I love this thing. It is just an amazing little machine. You can hear the dogs getting fed in the background there, by the way. This is just such a neat machine to watch. I had this thing for like a year and I didn't use it, and now I'm just I'm regretting the heck out of that. So so you can see it's just sort of working this back and forth, and it moves the little blade around, and you know, you can't really see what it's doing at this point, but it's actually carving the words out. So yeah, I think these things are fascinating. I think that they're just amazing. Somebody's saying, "What's next? A 3D printer?" The next thing I would like to buy would be a like a laser cutter would be amazing. So somebody's saying, "What do I make with the Cricut?" I will talk a little bit about what I've made with it so far, because I've gotten up to some various projects. This one is, yeah. All right, so that just, you know, that's just how that works. It's a really simple little thing. You design it first in this, you know, in this sort of design program thing. I see what's going on today, Ian. It's not Monday. It's almost Friday. I'll tell the story of why. So yeah, somebody was asking what I've made with this so far. I've made little stencils for airbrushing so that I can use that with my airbrush for leather work. In this case, what I'm making is a neti pot. And so what that's going to say at the end of the day is simple country lawyer in bright red text. And it's in permanent vinyl. So once I transfer that over to the other product, and you can see here, I can just show you sort of some of the text here. So that's some of the text, simple. There's also country lawyers sitting around here somewhere. I'm not sure where I left those, but so I'm going to transfer those over to the neti pot, and those will be on there permanently. And then that neti pot I'm sending over. And if you don't know what a neti pot is, it's a little sort of pot that's intended for running water up your nostrils to clean them out. I've never used one, but some people swear by them. But we're gonna send that off to the lawyer in the Gwyneth Paltrow case, the one who kept snorting and sniffing and whatever, and saying, you know, I'm just a simple country lawyer, because he could use that sort of cleaning out of his sinuses and so forth. Now, I need to figure out. I gotta ask. I think Rob is listening in. I don't know if he's able to come in. I'm just trying to figure out how I do those giveaways he did, because that StreamYard giveaway plugin. I'm trying to figure out what that is, because yeah, that was a really good system that he had, because I got a couple of things to give away, a couple of things that I brought back from what do you call it, Texas. So let me just see if I can find how I do that. Is there a giveaway thing here? Where's that hidden? All right. Well, I can't figure out where I do that for right now. So we'll do that in a bit, because that I think is pretty cool. I'm just trying to see. Open the StreamYard giveaway tab. Let me just see here. All right. I think I've got that working. I think I've got the notion. Let me step away for just a second. I'm sorry. I know this is a terrible thing to do. I just need to go grab the stuff I want to give you guys, because I I bought you guys a present, and now I don't have it ready at hand. So I'll just be right back. I'm just going to throw up a little while I'm away thing. Hey, folks, I am a terrible host for leaving you with the image for a second there. Hopefully, at least you guys enjoyed the image there. Um, so, all right, so I got a couple of things to give away, and we're gonna try to do that. So, as I mentioned on Rob's stream, one of the things I got up to in Texas was I went to the Family Business Beer Company, which is Jensen Ackles' brewery. So I got a couple of shirts. So I picked those up. They're both size large because I figure if you're small, you can wear a bigger shirt, but if you're big, you can't wear a smaller shirt. So that I if you don't want a large shirt, this is not the giveaway for you to enter. So we're just going to try a giveaway. We're going to start off with this one here. It is the Dripping Springs Family Business Beer Company. It says "Around Beer, Your Family." It's one of their slogans there. So let me just see if I can get this queued up. So we're just going to. All right. So if you want to enter for this one, the hashtag is #shirt. SHIRT. The R is very important. If you leave it out, you will not be entered. So yeah, people are asking, is the beer good? I like the beer. I think Kurt liked it a little less, but I wouldn't have ordered the one he got. So, but yes, try. I see that we are successfully collecting some entries here, so that is good. It looks like it's working. We are up to 86 entries and climbing, so excellent. So yeah, I'm hoping that I can send that along the way because when I saw those for sale, I was like, I bet some of you guys would like to get the shirt. Somebody's saying, which beer did I get? I got sort of a lighter beer. I can't remember what it was called. So, and somebody's saying, I care not about the beer. Speak about Washington gun law. I will have to address the Washington gun law. We'll have we got a few topics to cover here. And yes, I'm sorry, chat is flying, but that is kind of there's worse problems to have overall. So we'll just sort of give people a moment on that. So it's so let's talk a little bit about travel because it was exciting. So here's how my travel home worked. I was set to leave San Antonio Airport after driving back from Austin, which is a bit of a drive. It's it's not something I suggest doing just for giggles, but I was there for a purpose. I went to Austin to see Kurt. So I'm driving back. It takes a while. I check in for the appropriate time for my flight, and they say your flight is delayed and your connection is going to be hit and miss. And so I'm like, what do you mean by hit and miss? They're like, well, you land, and then 5 minutes after your scheduled arrival time, you are set to be departing on another flight. And I'm like, oh, so not boarding, but departing. And they're like, yeah, they might hold the flight for you. And I'm thinking, I've got a chance because I was actually sitting in the front row. And I was thinking, I got a chance because I can get off this plane. And why did I pay extra to be sitting in that front row? Because I figured this might happen. I planned for it. I was ready to go. Anyway, after that, they delayed the flight a little further, and by like an hour. So my whole like I can make it because I've got 5 minutes turned into just not happening at all. Baby Gator, thank you very much for the 10 gifted memberships. While I can sort of catch that. So anyway, they flew me out there. I arrive. My flight, is in the air. Like it's literally, I checked the United thing and it's like, you are on your way. And I'm like, no, I'm not. So I'm going, what do I have to do? And they say, go talk to customer service. Great. I go and I get in the line for customer service. And in front of me, there are some really angry people. I will say customer service, I think, was pretty happy to see me because I got there and I'm just like, I know my flight's gone. Let's just work this out. I'm not going to yell at you because yelling at the person doing customer service is a jerk move and will never solve your problems. So I was just like, hey, how about we just, work this out? And she's like, oh, it looks like we've got you booked on another flight. And I said, great. How is this, what? And it's like, well, the bad news is it's tomorrow morning. And I went, okay, I kind of figured that because I knew this was the last connection, but at least I get to make it from Denver to Edmonton tomorrow morning. And she's like, oh, no, it's not to Edmonton. It's to San Francisco. And I said, wait, you what? To where am I going from San Francisco? And she says, well, let me check. And she checks and she says, just San Francisco. And we looked at each other for a second and she said, that can't be right. I said, you're correct. That cannot be right. So we sat there and we were sitting there. I'm on my phone. I'm looking up, trying to figure out how to get to connections. She's looking up, trying to get to connections. And what we figure out is that there is actually a connection from San Francisco to Edmonton. The problem is that they just didn't book me on that connection. So I called up Air Canada, which is who I booked through, and Air Canada was able to book me that second leg of the flight, which was important. And so then they were saying, okay, well, your luggage is going to be automatically connected onto the next flight. And I said, that's a problem because like all of my stuff is in my luggage and I don't have like even a change of underwear. I don't have a change of I don't have a toothbrush. I don't have any of that stuff. And folks in the chat, if you enter shirt more than once, you still only get one entry. So please don't spam. If you're going to spam, I may have to time you out. So don't do that. But the good thing is they're like, we've actually got a little toiletries set for you. It doesn't include a change of underwear. So I apologize to the people I was next to on that flight because sorry, didn't have much choice. But at least I could, brush my teeth and that kind of stuff. So that was good. And the person next to me was losing their mind because they'd just been told that they would not be entitled to a hotel room. And I'm going, do I get a hotel room? And they said, oh, yes, because your flight was delayed due to mechanical failure, we'll put you up in a hotel. Thank God. So they put me in one. It was not at the airport. I would have liked to be at the one at the airport just to cut down on travel time, but they don't have a deal with that one. But I got a shuttle. What is it? Andrew Branca from Law of Self-Defense was very nice. He saw that I was in trouble on Twitter and he was like, I got space. You can crash with me. And I was like, I could, but I'm going to have to wake up at like 2 a.m. So that's going to be a pain in the butt for you. So I'll just take the hotel room. So I got the hotel room. And somebody's saying, why was the other person's not covered? Your hotel room is not covered if you, if you miss the flight because of your actions or if there's certain other things. but mechanical issues, you get the hotel room. That's sort of how I had it explained. So they also gave me some meal vouchers, which was fantastic. So I'm covered. I'm good. I'm feeling pretty cheerful at that point, as much as I can be. I go to the hotel room. I literally have enough time to like put my head on the pillow, and then it feels like my alarm is going off. And I almost screwed up. I almost screwed up so bad because I set my alarm, and I just noticed after I set it on my phone that it said alarm will go in 2 days and whatever else. And it's because I set it with like an old alarm that was set for a particular day. That could have been real bad. So I got that sorted. So I get on the shuttle. It is stupid early. I get dropped off at the airport. Um, I actually suspect that the customer service woman was sort of extra nice to me because I was probably the only person she dealt with that day who didn't yell at her. I was just like, "We're good, thank you." So I get I get back on. I get on the flight. I'm not having a great time because I am stupid tired. And the first flight, I end up with this guy who's giving me a bit of side eye because they come around and I'm in, business class, which I got because it was literally a $25 upgrade. I'm not like rolling in cash here. It was just like, hey, I've got a $25 upgrade. I'll pay 25 bucks. But I was so happy for it because they were like, hey, do you want to start your flight with a mimosa or some water? Guy next to me is like, water. And I'm like, mimosa, please. And he looks over at me with this side eye. And I'm like, dude, I've had a time of this. Let me have my freaking mimosa. Uh, I didn't say anything, but I was just like, why? And then later they come, like, as soon as the flight is in the air, they come by and they're like, would you like another drink? And I'm like, I would like a Bloody Mary. And the guy gives me that look again, and I'm going, come on, man. Like, so anyway, I have a few drinks. The guy actually once he sort of, later starts talking to me, actually turns out to be fairly cool. So we ended up having a chat. He was a great guy, but it was just kind of funny if he's giving me this look. So I'm like, what? So I fly over there. We get, and I am dreading what's going to happen next because I am already picturing that as I land in San Francisco, I'm just thinking that the next thing that's going to happen is I'm going to hear that my other flight, that I'm not going to make my connections. And I'm going, come on, don't do this to me. I do not want to get stuck in San Francisco because like airports suck. And usually when you're stuck, you don't have time to like go and see the city. You don't have time to anything. All you get to do is just see the airport, and that sucks. So I'm going to give it another minute or so before I cut off the first giveaway here. So you got about a minute to get those in. So I'm just going to do the hand wave here so that I can see my timing. All right. So I made the connection. I arrive. I am feeling it's stupid late. And stupid late actually turns out to be like 2 in the afternoon. But when you've been in the air all this time, you just feel wrecked. So I managed to get home, and I really got to thank you guys because I was like, hey, should I do the Monday evening? Should I do a Monday evening stream? And you guys were like, no, don't, like, get some rest. And that was the right call. That was absolutely the right call. So thank you guys for having more sense than I did. So that's why we've got that's why we're doing the sort of catch-up stream, because there's a bunch of stories I wanted to talk about, and I didn't get to talk about them on Monday, so I better get to talk about them now. Don't tell me you actually slept, Runkle. I did, believe it or not. I did. So, all right. It was good times. So I'm going to try hitting the StreamYard button. Let's see what it does. crap. It's doing the thing. Sorry, guys. I have got the share window up too late. This is the first time I'm doing this, so but yeah, let me just pull it up because it's already showing who the winner is. So the winner is For the Kids. For the Kids, toss me a line. You have got yourself a shirt. I am going to mark on the packaging of the shirt that it is yours. For the Kids. There we go. It is now marked on the packaging. I don't think you could read it because it's black Sharpie on a black thing. But yes, reach out. We will, we'll do the thing. So I didn't realize that I had to get that taken care of beforehand, but I will make that look better for the next one. All right. So let us look at a story because there are some stories that we can cover here. And I think this one's an interesting one. This one kind of connects to the Gwyneth Paltrow case. And so here we go. All right, let's embiggen. Blake Lively hires engineer from Gwyneth Paltrow's Utah ski collision trial for latest Betty Buzz ad. This is cool, and it's biomechanical engineer Dr. Irving Scherer, who testified on behalf of Paltrow. Everybody liked this guy, right? This is this guy who drew some really interesting stick diagrams. So he has now got he's got a brand endorsement for a non-alcoholic mixer, Betty Buzz. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, everybody liked. What was the name people were using? Was it Math Daddy? Yeah, this is the guy who was drawing the very suggestive drawings, and yeah, it's kind of nice. So I think that's pretty cool. We'll have to follow that. I don't want to play the ad. There is an ad for it and there's a video, but if I play the video, we might get kicked out. So now they say, why do they have the how do they connect this to him? And apparently it's to find out. We asked an expert witness. They start out in the video. So yeah, I'm really happy to hear about that one. I was really happy to hear that story. Now, people in the chat are reminding me that I have left out an important tale in here, and that I owe you some further story. So let's talk about the story of the pickle. So here's how the pickle story goes. I fly in, and this is midway through my story, where I fly in and I arrive at, this is me arriving at, what do you call it? Oh, my brain is hot garbage today. So I arrive at San Francisco Airport, and from San Francisco, I've got to connect on to my next flight, which means I got to go through security again, right? And the security is this giant. I sent a picture of this, and the security was this giant maze of people. Thankfully, that maze moved pretty quickly. Actually, I think that was Denver, as opposed to that. So I'm going through security, and I get up to the front of the line. And keep in mind, I'm tired, and I'm wearing a stupid hat. And by a stupid hat, I mean the best hat, but it's a little ridiculous. Let me get you the hat, because I know there's people who want to see the hat. I'm just gonna throw you guys into the bathroom break window again here, or maybe I'll just play a video here. We'll just do what is it? I'll show you my what do you call it? So if I got, yeah, we'll just run the intro. I'll be right back. All right, I'm sorry about that. I am back. So, people wanted to see the hat because the reason why I'm wearing the hat is that I was very much told that if I checked the hat in my baggage, that it would not survive, that the hat would get destroyed, and that I would never see the hat again. And I believed them when they told me this at the hat store because I straight up thought, I know how travel goes when I try to travel. I'm sure that I would have caught my flight and lost the hat if I had left the hat. I would have been tempting the gods. So I'm wearing this hat so that I can bring it through, and this is the hat. It's a great hat. I like the hat, but it's a big hat. So, and this is a genuine Stetson. It's like 100% felt. It's 100% pure fur felt. It's made in the U.S. It's a great hat. Like, it's a real quality hat. But I'm just gonna say, you do look a little weird when you are walking through airport security wearing this giant hat. And so I initially go and they have me, they want you to walk through that scanner, and the scanner has you with, I don't like the scanner. And the reason why I don't like the scanner is that I've seen pictures of what you look like, and it kind of looks like they're taking pictures of you naked. I don't trust, they're like, oh yeah, the pictures get censored in the back room. I'm like, can I see that? Like, can I see that they're being censored? Oh no, that can't happen. Okay. And they're like, oh, nobody has a cell phone or anything to capture an image. I'm like, can I verify that somehow? No, 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 you can't. So I don't trust them. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna do the pat down. Now it takes them forever to get a pat down, and while they do, they're going through my luggage, and they're having like a moment. There's like an argument going on back and forth between the security people and like a discussion, and I'm going, what? What's going on here? So I get there, and they're like, sir, and they've already unpacked my, is this your bag? I'm like, yes. And they're like, is this your pickle? And I went, my pickle? Because I'd forgotten that I had the pickle. I forgot that I had the pickle. This is the pickle. So here's the issue. This pickle, which is a jumbo dill by Van Holten's. Van Holten's is not a sponsor. It says contents one pickle. One pickle. So they were saying, listen, you're allowed to bring, I forget what it is. It's like 100 milliliters of liquid. And so they're saying, like, is there more than 100 milliliters of liquid in the pickle bag or not? And they actually had a discussion as to whether or not there was my pickle might have been too big or too juicy to make it through security. They had that discussion. I wasn't privy to that discussion. I was back about 20 feet getting felt up by some random dude. So, yeah, eventually they decided that my pickle was good to go. They cleared my pickle to fly, and so I am able to show you guys the pickle. Yeah, that was just amazing. So I feel like this is called for. So yes, that is the tale of the pickle. TSA, folks. There's always a story. So, all right, let me get to some super chats here before we sort of carry on with our next story here. Because Kristen Russell, thank you very much. From Ruby, my Border Collie to Potter and Zora. Sorry if we spelled that wrong. You spelled it exactly right. So glad to catch you on a live. I seem to miss you each time. I'm glad you're here. Lily Smith, you make the cutest cowboy, Ian. Well, thank you very much. I'm blushing a little bit here. Slim Jim Slim, I know how to make underwear out of a McDonald's bag. That's distressing. I'm not sure what that would feel like. Hopefully not a used McDonald's bag, like the grease. You know what? I just don't need to know. So yeah, that's exciting. Whoops, missed one here from Trufflehound saying, "Chat, always be kind to customer service." Yes, customer service has the incredible power to ruin your entire day, and so you just don't want to mess with them. But um, you also just don't want to be a jerk, right? You got to live with whatever kind of person you are. So yes. Um, and Brentwood Chic, thank you very much for the 10 gifted memberships. It looks like you accidentally got blocked, but that hopefully has been fixed. Yeah, somebody was trying to click the wrong button. Rachel Duick, thank you very much for the YouTube membership. Elizabeth Walker, thank you for the membership and congratulations. I saw that you were a lucky winner over on Rob's stream, so congratulations. Katie Cotton, thank you very much for the YouTube membership. Much appreciated. Trufflehound, motion to rebrand Neti Pot to Nose Hose. Seconded on that one. Slim Jim Slim, can it say simple country lawyer yeehaw? I would go with it, but he never actually said yeehaw in the stream, I don't think. So yeah, we're not gonna. I think I'll leave that off. Special KL, thank you very much for the super sticker. Joni Nix, thank you for the YouTube membership, much appreciated. Rhineman YYC, I wonder how much of the bathroom scene from Naked Gun you could get away with without catching a strike. Very little. Heart-shaped Isle, thank you very much for the YouTube membership. Much appreciated. Bop it, 100 milliliters of liquid, and they should not have opened your bag without being there. Yeah, they started rifling through when I was not there. So it is what it is. I was not going to be super upset. Did I notice your win on Andy's channel? I didn't. I had to pop in on Andy's channel briefly while I was sort of in between court obligations. But congratulations. I take it that was for another of Rob's. I saw the things that Rob was auctioning off or giving away there, so that was awesome. Ian, dude, my pickle is too big and juicy for security. That is actually what she said. My God. I mean, sometimes you just got to lean into it. So Emily D needs to hear this story. I should clip it and send it on. Did you also get a shaver stolen? I have not found the shaver. I found the pocket knife. The pocket knife turned up. The shaver is still missing. So I don't know what's that. Who is Andy? It's Andy Senior, Popcorn Planet. He was running a giveaway as part of a large charity stream that was purely for raising money for Make-A-Wish, largely in honor of Corey, but also in honor of like Johnny Depp and so forth. So, all right, yeah, that is sort of that's the pickle story, and the pickle story is kind of interesting. Now, there's been some other stuff in the news that I kind of wanted to look at, and why is it? All right, New York Times is trying to give me grief. We will see if I have successfully worked around the New York Times. New York Times, you cannot stop me. All right, let's bring up the article. So this one I want to talk about because they're talking about Canada. All right, so we got here, when Mounties pose as mobsters, some Canadians cry foul. The New York Times has figured out that Canadian law is messed up here. So basically what they're talking about here is Mr. Big Schemes. And Mr. Big Schemes are really interesting. So Mr. Big Schemes are criticized and they're popular in some ways and so forth. So basically what a Mr. Big scheme is, like how these things work, is that let's say the police think you have committed a crime, right? They think it's really common that they use this on people who they think may have committed like a murder that they think they got away with. And so let's say they thought Mrs. Runkle gets killed in some suspicious circumstance and they think I did it. Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't think they would run a Mr. Big scheme on me. And the reason why is because I'm a criminal defense lawyer and I am probably likely to see it coming. They often run these on people who are, in some cases, people with serious like mental challenges. They run them on people who've got like a 5th grade education. But what they do is they sort of first arrange a scenario where the RCMP undercover officers uh, sort of run into you. They bump into you by chance. And so in one case, they followed up on somebody's advertising, like an advertisement. The guy was selling his car. They'll do things like run into you on the bus, that kind of thing. And so they run into you, and then they start talking to you, and they try to hit it off with you, right? They try to become friends. They try to build a rapport. They're going to be these guys are suddenly instant buddies. And then they start talking about how they're involved. And these guys who are your instant buddies will start waving money around. These guys, and keep in mind that a lot of these people are super impoverished. They don't have a whole lot of cash. And so suddenly they meet people who are just, they're able to throw money down like it's nothing. And they might do things like, rent an apartment for this guy who is, down on their luck. And somebody in the chat is noting that this is a technique that is banned in the United States, 100%. You cannot do this in the United States. So they start, throwing money around, and, either the person asks where the money comes from, or they'll tell you. And what they'll say is, we are part of a gang. We're criminals. We are, we're gangsters. And look at all this money we've got. Look at the fast cars we're driving. Sometimes they'll do things like they'll rent a boat. And so you might be literally on somebody's yacht, and they're showing off. They'll have women. They'll have all sorts of things. And so you're getting the idea. These guys are just living large, right? And they start basically saying, hey, how about you guys make some connection? Like, wouldn't you like to make some of this money? And so they'll get people to do things like, make a delivery. So you, as the target, they'll give you like a pouch of baking soda, and they'll say, we want you to drive this to our buddy across town, and for this you'll get paid $1,000. $1,000 to drive across the city is pretty good money, right? So you get that cash, and then they'll do this repeatedly. But as they go, they will start doing some stuff that starts getting a little sketchier. And so this New York Times article cites one of these cases where they've got a Mr. Al Potter, who was convicted as a result of one of these schemes. Was one of the tasks that they gave him, one of the things that they were having him do, was to help bury in a remote field. Like, they took him out to a remote farmer's field and were burying what he thought was the body of a guy who'd pissed off the gang. It was actually a dead pig in a bag, in a cloth bag. So, but he thinks it's a dead body, and he thinks that he's helping them. Now, I'm just going to say at this point, do you think maybe you might have some feelings about this gang and whether or not it is safe to piss them off? I would be worried. Like if I'm out there and, I'm being told that the last guy who pissed them off is somebody we're burying out in a cornfield right now, I would be a little bit afraid of this. I would be a little bit worried. And, keep in mind that when the police are trying to get you to confess in their office, the like in cells, they're not allowed to threaten you at all. Like the whole confession could be thrown out if the officer drew back a hand like he was going to backhand you, right? So they certainly couldn't do something like, hey, if you don't make us happy, we're going to bury you in a cornfield, which is kind of the implication here. So now they want you to confess. And so now they're going to start doing it. And there's one of two strategies that they do. And you might be saying, hey, why are you telling all this? Well, first, these things have been widely reported. But second, I would love it if this technique stopped working and they stopped using it. So, yeah, they'll go with one of two strategies. Strategy number one is they'll say, listen, we want you to be part of our gang, but we need to know we need to know that you're a big deal, that you're willing to do bad things, that you're a heavy hitter. We also need some dirt on you because we don't want anybody who is perfectly clean. We want some people who we know are in it with us and are not going to talk about this kind of stuff. And, so we need you to tell us about something serious you have done. And then people are like, oh, yeah, well, I totally killed so-and-so, my wife, my business partner, whoever. And so that's why they confess, is to get in with the gang, where not getting in with the gang sounds like maybe you end up buried in a field somewhere, right? So, yeah. The next thing that they may sometimes do is they'll say, listen, Mr. Big, and in some of these, they've actually gone so far as to straight up call the guy Mr. Big because, the police think it's funny. So they'll say, like, listen, we've got a guy and he's got, cancer or, organ failure or whatever it is. He's on his way out. And this guy is willing to confess to all sorts of things. And so before you come on board, we think you might have been involved in some bad things. We heard rumors about, your wife. And if you were involved in that, we need to know, because then this guy, he'll confess to it. And then he goes, like, he dies and it's no problem. It's just, he gets to basically vanish out of the world and take all of your legal troubles with him. But he's going to need to know enough details that, when he gives the confession, that it's going to sound real, right? He needs to know how it was done, where it was done, all of this, so that when he goes to the police to confess, he's going to be able to provide all this information. So then people are like, oh, sure, you've got this guy. Great. Here's how I killed so-and-so. I used the candlestick in the conservatory, and yeah. And then they end up in court, and those confessions are played, and they go to jail. People are saying, how is this legal? Well, here's the thing. It shouldn't be. It is, but I think it shouldn't be, because you're basically being interrogated, but you don't actually get told you have a right to a lawyer because it's an undercover operation. And that seems to me to be a little crazy, where, you should be told if they're doing an interrogation that you've got a right to a lawyer, but they can't do that with the Mr. Big schemes. So the other thing is that you can't, the amount of like threatening conduct and so forth is really distressing. So I think that this is a really big problem. I have some real big concerns. And you might be saying, why do the police love this technique? The police love this technique because a couple of things. One, they really like the idea of solving these crimes. But second, oh my God, is this a lot of fun? I would love to run one of these. I mean, I wouldn't, but it's, you're just thinking, hey, wouldn't it be fun to play gangster and like be able to walk into the bar and throw down 10 grand on drinks for the night and like rent a yacht and have like parties with all of this? People love these. So the other fun thing on this one is that sometimes they get really into sketchy scenarios. In one that I'm aware of, they let the guy drive home drunk because they knew that if he got arrested, they actually put out a call saying, do not arrest this guy, even though he's driving drunk, because otherwise they would have had to disclose how they knew he was driving drunk. Because if he got arrested for the drunk driving, they would have had to reveal the undercover operation. Now, if you got run over by that would make you very unhappy. Possibly dead, but you'd be very unhappy if you got ran over because the police didn't want to pull this guy over because it would endanger their operation. The other thing that sometimes happens is a lot of these people are lonely. And so one of the undercover cops might be a woman, a very attractive woman. You know, a police officer, works out, real friendly all of a sudden. So a lot of these guys thought that they were in a relationship with one of the people as part of this new group. And the RCMP, when asked if it was allowable for one of these undercover officers to sleep with a target of a Mr. Big scheme, they've said that that's on the discretion of the officer. On the discretion of the officer. The officer gets to choose. So they're allowed. And they have refused to answer the question of whether this has ever happened. So I can virtually guarantee, because they've refused to answer that question, it's happened, because otherwise they would have just answered the question. So that's creepy, especially because Canadian law says that it is an SA if you engage in, sexual conduct with somebody under false pretenses. So what we might actually have is situations where police officers might have SA'd targets of investigations. Good work, team. We are making everything just like this is just messed up. So I am really sorry to depress people, but that's kind of the story on these things. And they've been rolled out in some other countries, as mentioned, not the US. So the US is doing some good work on that, and props to the US. All right. Is everybody depressed? Because maybe we should switch to a story that is less depressing. Who wants a happy story? Do we have happy stories? Is that something people want to see? I feel like maybe we should see some happy stories. All right, so let me bring up something that is a little happier. Sorry to bring everyone down on a Thursday here. Let's just see. Whoops, I don't want to miss the super chat here, but we want to cover a happier story. Let me just pull this up. There we go. Happier story. So this is not so much a legal story, but it is an awesome story. Determined Nunavut dad drops 79 pounds to be organ donor for his teenage son. And we got a picture there. That's him and his son. So Hunter and Daniel Kablutsiak, I think it is. So Daniel, I'm being told I got to swoop. We got the swoop. All right. So basically, he's got kidney disease, and this is a problem, especially because this is people from Nunavut. And because they're from Nunavut, I'm going to, I suspect that they are Inuit. And this creates some additional difficulties because the Inuit are underrepresented in organ donation pools. And I mean, that's just the way it is, right? So he needed a new kidney, and his dad was a match, was going to be a perfect donor, except he was too big. We got a picture. That's the before and the after. So he was 274 pounds before, and he had to get under 200. They said, we can do this. We'll do it. It's got to be under 200. And so they, he worked at it. He worked real hard, and it took him 13 months, and he made it to 195 pounds. And so he's officially approved as an organ donor. He is, he's good to go. So, that I think is a really cool story. So, yeah, it's, I think it's just fantastic. It's, we'll have to see sort of where that goes, but I'm really hopeful. And the other thing is, I'm just going to give Hunter here some props. This is a picture there, and so this is Hunter, who appears to be appropriately named. Looks like he's got himself an animal there. It looks like he's got a caribou. And he wants to be a game warden. So good for him. That's pretty awesome. I just like that story. It's a dad out there fighting for his kid, and I mean, it's tough. Lots of people out there struggle to lose weight, and so yeah. And I see Ian Y, thousands donate their organs. Just a different genetic pool, and it's harder to get matches. So in sort of if you're in any sort of minority group, it's harder to get matches. So yeah, I think that's an awesome story. And yeah, organ donation is amazing. Think of Corey. It doesn't always work out as with my husband, but wow, I'm sorry to hear that about your husband. But yeah, I really thought that was a cool story. So yeah, that one I feel like that one's a good antidote to the one just before it. It's a happy story. Like, now we've got a better story here. And fun fact, Inuit is plural. One person is Inuk, two are Inuk. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. 3+ are Inuit. I did not know that. That is cool. We'll look at some super chats here. Could a water gun be considered a firearm? Potentially. Certain water guns, I think, could be, and I actually think there's an argument for just about any water gun being an 84 sub 3 firearm. So I could do a video on that one at some point. So yeah, it's especially hard for Indigenous people. Sometimes Maori people, all the way down here, are matches for donation. Yeah, it can be tough. So yeah. And I see they also have almost no health care up there, and will need to travel for surgery and ongoing health care. Best to be as healthy as possible going into surgery. Yeah, I hope everything works out, right? I hope everything works out for these groups. They deserve it, right? These it's one of these stories where you're just like, I hope that this ends up being all happy and pleasant. So I had another story I wanted to cover here, because I think this one's an interesting legal topic. And so we'll have a look at this one. This one actually came up just as, yeah, and this is why I think that it's likely to be an 84 sub 3 firearm. So we'll just talk about this. A firearm in Canada is any barreled weapon, except the case law has basically written out weapon from the definition, and it says you can put other liquids in a water gun. but it's any barreled item that can cause serious bodily injury or death by firing a projectile. Now, could a liquid be a projectile? I think so. I think that meets with the definition. I don't think there's any case confirming it, but I suspect so. And I mean, let's say instead of putting water in it, you put in, I don't know, hot sauce. That's not going to be fun. But we could go worse. Let's say you put in boiling water. That could do some damage. And the test is, could it destroy an eyeball? Well, I think a water gun full of boiling water could do it. Let's say you put in gasoline and you hold up a match to it. That could do some damage. Or, acids, or, ricin in liquid, all sorts of things. I'm demonetized. It's good. We're done here. But yeah, I mean, somebody's saying king cobras have a liquid projectile. Yep. And Crazy Cat Queen is saying wasp spray. Wasp spray is actually surprisingly less dangerous than you think. But yeah, it's all right. So now that I've ruined my monetization here, let's actually do a transition to maybe another fun topic. We're gonna do a taste test. So we're gonna swoop. We're gonna swoop. And the swoop let me reach around and grab something while everybody was cleverly distracted by the swoop. And so I was in Texas, and while I was in Texas, you guys in the chat and on my Twitter feed, you had some opinions. And one of those opinions was, Runkle, get yourself to a Buc-ee's. And Buc-ee's is a thing. I didn't really expect what Buc-ee's was, because I looked it up and I was like, what is a Buc-ee's? And they're like, oh, it's a gas station. And I thought, why is my chat crazy? Why have they gone completely mad and are telling me that I have to go to a gas station? Because, I'm used to ordinary gas stations that are boring, and, you got gas, you maybe buy some, I don't know, like a pack of chips or something. Buc-ee's is not like that. Buc-ee's, first of all, it's a gas station where, like, literally I think you could die of thirst walking from one end of the gas pumps to the other end. So that was kind of surprising, going like, how many gas stations does one place need? Because the answer is apparently all of them. And Buc-ee's has all of them. Like, if there is a shortage of gas pumps in the universe, it is because they have somehow been shipped to a Buc-ee's somewhere. And yeah, so that was surprising. I didn't know that I was supposed to check out the bathrooms, because so people say they are the best bathrooms. I didn't actually go into the bathrooms because I was kind of creeped out. It didn't really have the kind of atmosphere where I felt comfortable dropping trow, because it's a weird, creepy place. They have a mascot. Like, there is literally a mascot walking around of a giant beaver, which is weird. I feel like the way culture has been going, maybe that it felt like a weird kind of creepy reference. So that, and people were like, did you get a picture with the mascot? I actually thought about it. You know why I didn't get a picture with the mascot? Some kids spilled blue drink all over the mascot just as I was getting around there. And so I did not get a picture with the mascot, because the mascot had to go get, like, I don't know, blow dried, or I suspect they just had the guy walk through the car wash or something. But yeah, he got covered with blue drink. So yeah. They have beef jerky, and when I say they have beef jerky, I mean they have like 100 different kinds of beef jerky. So naturally, I got like their ghost pepper, their hot and spicy, and their garlic, and they were actually pretty solid. They have like weird kitschy things, like, you can buy cutting boards in the shape of Texas. You can buy. I didn't see if they have guns. They might have guns. So everything you want to buy in there, you can buy. And one of the things you can buy there is hot sauce. And you know me, I had to check out the hot sauce. I just had to. My wife also wanted me to bring back some Texas barbecue sauce. So I brought back some barbecue sauce from the gas station, including the gas station brand barbecue sauce. I'll let you know how that goes. But here's the thing that really, like, one thing on the hot sauce rack just drew my eye. Truffle Hound brand hot sauce. Now, Truffle Hound, you still here in the chat? Because you got some explaining to do, man. You've been holding out on me if you've got your own hot sauce. Now, it doesn't have a pun on it, which was kind of a disappointment, I guess. But I thought, you know what? There is no way I'm not buying this hot sauce. And when I was worried about my bag going missing, one of the things I was thinking of is, oh my God, please don't lose my bag because it's got the Truffle Hound brand hot sauce. So it apparently includes truffle. And it smells pretty good, I gotta say. So we're gonna try some hot sauce here. I see. Yeah, buddy. There we go. So it smells good. It's not like a spicy smell, but you can smell that there is some sort of like a truffly element to it. Not bad. All right. I have got some on my thumb here. Remind me, chat, that I need to wash this before I go and use the washroom or anything like that. Flavor's interesting. It's not... Most hot sauces are kind of similarly hot. This one's got a bit more umami to it, a bit more of sort of a different kind of flavor. I actually kind of like this. Yeah, it's got like a sort of sweet and rich and umami kind of flavor to it. I actually kind of like this sauce. Truffle Hound, you did good. It's not super hot. I can feel like a little bit of bite to it, but it's not gonna kill me. So it's good. And of course, because it's me, we're gonna do this. Cheers. I see people asking, does it have mango in it? I don't see mango. It's got tomato. Tomato's like a forward flavor in this. Vinegar, truffle pepper blend, which includes truffle juice, truffles, and natural truffle flavor. Carrots, garlic, dates. That's some of the sweetness in there. Chickpea miso, that'll be the umami. Smoked paprika, kelp, that'll also be the umami there. They're putting like the miso and the kelp in there to basically pack this with MSG without actually saying MSG. So I didn't know if I'd like this one. I like this one. I'm going to use it. It is listed as 2 out of 3 peppers. So yeah, Truffle Hound, you did good. This is a good sauce. So I actually I am impressed. That's an excellent sauce. So I thought I would give that a try there. I see chat. This isn't mine, but I love the branding. I'm kidding about it being his. It's just a convenient name there, but I love the branding, and I am sweet and rich and umami-ish in real life. Cheers, buddy. So yeah, it is. It's good stuff. Peggy Ann saying, "Wow, I just spit out my pickle when you chug the hot sauce. Don't spit out the pickle. People don't like that. I'm just." Cholula is awesome. I love that it has flavor instead of just being Tabasco. Tabasco is a flavor, but it's mostly vinegar. Now, another thing, and maybe I'll swoop again. Whoop. Wonder if it would make a good hot wing sauce. I'm going to try it because I actually think it would be. Now, Kurt and I stopped at a whiskey place, and this is they've got a YouTube channel like Whiskey Tribe. I'd never heard of them before, but they are cool. And I picked up a box. And this box kind of shows you that they've got a pretty cool sense of humor. Something cool goes here, lorem ipsum. I am amused. So this is 12 Texas whiskeys. And I'm just going to see if I can get a good, how do I open this thing without, here we go. So this is from Crowded Barrel Whiskey Company, and it has 12 happy whiskeys. All right. So I'm just pulling one out here at random. Distillery Real Spirits, straight malt whiskey. Surgeon General, do not drink alcoholic beverages during pregnancy. Can I say that's the other thing that I found really weird and kind of creepy about Texas? I'm used to bathrooms that include... So, I mean, everybody thinks that a bathroom is a great place for a mandatory warning sign, right? And here in Edmonton, the mandatory warning signs are basically, if you're pregnant, please don't drink alcohol. This is great advice. If you are pregnant or think you might be pregnant, do not drink alcohol. But that's what our bathrooms always say. And this is 57.6% alcohol by volume. So it is a spicy spirit. What do you call it? In Texas, a lot of the warnings are like, if you are being enslaved, like if you are being made to work by force, please call us. That is terrifying. Like, Texas, do you got a problem? Are you okay? So were those hard to bring across the border? No. I'm allowed to bring 1.5 liters of alcohol across the border, and that box is 1.15 liters. And so that, so I was well under, and so I just declared it. They're like, do you have anything to drink to declare? Do you have any alcohol? I'm like, yes, I do. And not a problem. I see, do pregnant people in Edmonton drink in the bathroom? I've never seen any pregnant women drinking in the men's room, but it could happen. It could happen. So I tried those. I tried them. They were, I see, human trafficking is a huge problem out here all over the U.S. right now. That's weird. That's weird. I'm sorry to hear that, but ooh, that one's got some sweetness. It's not heavy on the peat. It's kind of almost sugary. Hey, Runkle, how do you whiskey? I like whiskey neat or with a little bit of water, just a little bit of water. And by a little bit of water, I mean like drops of water, not like, no ice, no anything like that. Just straight up whiskey. That's sort of the way to go. All right. Let's look at some super chats here and some of the comments. So I'm 98% Bordeaux Collie. Drink responsibly, chat. Love it. Thank you. Chase P, were those hard to bring across the border? They were not. Super easy. Burro Berries. This is literally how they solved a decade-old case in Australia of Daniel Morcombe. Undercover befriended the suspect on a plane. I knew that the guy next to me on the plane was not an undercover because he was, the undercover is never going to give you side eye over having a drink. So, in fact, he'll probably be like, can I buy you another one? So, interesting. Runkle, I would love to know your opinion on Alexis Avila testifying in her attempted murder trial for throwing her newborn away. He's doing great now with his dad. She is full of poo. I haven't seen that one, but maybe I should check it out. That is good to check out. Can I transport a firearm on public transit in Alberta? Not according to Alberta or to Edmonton public transit policy. So, I see this was in regards to the Mr. Big scheme. I figured that one, but it is good to have the context. So, yeah. Did I find any Afro Man beer? I didn't. I looked at a liquor store and no luck. I don't know where it's carried. Oops, we just covered that one. Could a water gun be considered a firearm? I think we covered that as well. Why is my chat crazy? Answer, it's your chat. Fair. I should have seen that one coming. Chase P, anything to help offset the demonetization? Thank you. Just stuff maybe I shouldn't be talking about here. I really hope it's not horrendous. It's not. It's actually pretty solid. Victoria McWilliams, my husband went to school with the Buc-ee's owners. First Buc-ee's was pretty much a gas station with a few goodies. That is cool. And I bet from the size of that place, those folks have to be just rolling in money now. So that is I bet they live a life that I cannot even imagine. Heart-shaped Isle, season 20 Hot Wings pack just launched. Time for another challenge with Rob. I am down. I got to make this happen because I enjoyed the heck out of that. Koru, hey Ian, check out Maritime Madness hot sauces from PI. Not bad and decent price. I actually did try them. I tried a couple of them, and they were really good. Actually, I was impressed because I don't know. I guess I've got kind of anti-nationalism that when I see something that is like, yeah, Canada. I kind of think it's like Tim Hortons, where a lot of the stuff that's like, yeah, Canada. And I go, if that's all you're selling, I'm probably not interested. I hope it's good flavor. Maritime Madness has good flavor. So that is that. JP, there are often abuse helpline posters in women's bathrooms because it's the only time they can get away from abusers. That is a good point. It's a sad point, but it's a good point. And I'm glad that they're there, right? If they're necessary, I'm glad that it's there. It's depressing that they have to be. That's kind of that. Texas attorney here. Those signs are there because victims can get that information without their abusers seeing it. Same for domestic violence information. Yeah, and that's an excellent point. So that is, that's good because if somebody is, keeping you under their thumb, the bathroom might be the only time you get some sort of private time. So, yeah. All right. I've got a birthday stream in 2 weeks. I don't know if I will get the stuff in time, but I should try to. I guess I'll order it, and we'll just have to see if we can get that in time. So, Rua, I forget how that's pronounced. City? It's not city. I used to know the pronunciation of that. Thanks for keeping me and my migraine company. The Fae. We'll go with that. So thank you. I'm glad I can help your migraine a little bit. My strategy for migraines is just to try to be asleep when it hits. That's about the only thing because I get them. I get the aura. And for the people who don't have a migraine, who don't have migraines, one of the things that you can get as sort of a warning sign is what's called the fortification hallucination or fortification illusion. And they're these like little sort of jagged, curvy like lines that appear in your vision. It's actually sufficiently imposing that some of the people in like medieval times who thought that or who were experiencing migraines, let's pronounce she, there we go. Some of the people in medieval times who were experiencing migraines actually thought things like that they were seeing visions of the city of God. Now, I would just say that if I thought that was a vision from God, I would be thinking of a very angry and like kind of nasty deity because migraines hit me real hard. But if I get to sleep first, I can usually dodge the migraine. I don't know why. Sleep seems to, disrupt it. And Nicholas Starro is saying might be crowded with birthday streams. I have mine in 3 weeks. Fair enough. And XCDA, my migraines have been starting in my sleep and waking me up. No chance to catch it at the aura stage. I am sorry. But I also can say, I got your card. Thank you so much. That was really appreciated there. And yeah, it's was very touched. So thank you very much. And thank you so much for the paper cranes there. It's really appreciated. All right. I haven't yet watched this. Laura M has got a very good point here. Did anyone watch Hoag's video today about his stroke? I haven't watched it yet. I'm gonna have to because I want to see it. If you don't know Rick Hoag, Virtual Legality, and Hoag Law, he has he went and he had a stroke. And I mean, there's no sort of way to sort of work, to tiptoe around that. He had a stroke, and Mrs. Hoag, his co-counsel, basically saved his life. She found him. She recognized the signs of the stroke, and she took him into the hospital. She saved his life, and he has been struggling with the rehab. It's it's a tough process, but he's also kicking ass at it. And I want to see his video. I've been sort of talking about things sort of as we go, but Hoag is one of my heroes, and Mrs. Hoag is one of my heroes because just being able to fight through something like that is one of the most badass things I can possibly name. It is just amazing. So good for him. I want to check that video out. You should check it out as well. Blair is saying CCFR versus Canada thoughts so far. I bet you've been watching the proceedings so far. I'm going to do a bit more of a rundown or recap on probably on Saturday. But for right now, my thoughts are the various legal teams. It's the CCFR. It's Ed Burlew. It's all sorts of people are all working together to fight that case. And I think they're doing a great job. The problem is I think that they've got a real uphill battle. And it's like if you're an amateur walking off the street, and I'm not comparing them to amateurs, I'm just sort of giving an analogy here. And you go up and you're fighting Mike Tyson, doing a great job doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. And they have such an uphill battle. It's they're going up against the government, right? The cards are always stacked against you when you're going up against the government. So we will see. So we'll just have to follow that, but I'll do a rundown. A lot of people online were wondering about my Twitter comment here about the dog shit analogy. And what happened is that there was actually, I thought the one lawyer, and I mean, he did excellent work in terms of his advocacy. He was a good lawyer. He made good points. He just got into the weeds on an analogy, and it happens. But his analogy was basically about dog poo cleanup bylaws and, the difficulty in categorizing, if the bylaw says that you have to clean up after big dogs when they poo, how do you define a big dog? And I'm going, and it got in there, right? Like it took a while. It was still kind of winding and so forth. So yeah. Koru is saying you're still on Twitter, Ian. I can't really figure out Mastodon. I don't know any of the other alternatives. I'm certainly not going to Boozy's Spoutable. So, I mean, Twitter's where a lot of people know where to find me. It is what it is. So, yeah, that's sort of what I meant by that one. It was kind of a thing there. So, all right. So let's look at another fun story. Fun stories are good, right? We want fun stories. All right. Let's bring this up. So let's talk about this one because it's got some legal issues. It's more than what most people may be making in a year. Customer tries to give a Chick-fil-A worker $45,000 to quit on the spot. So Yeah, we could just watch this video. Let me switch over my audio here. We're just gonna have to do some fiddling. 1 second, folks. All right. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Hopefully everyone can hear this one. We're gonna turn the audio on. Let's see.
If I give you this, it's 20,000.
Can you guys hear the audio?
Think about it.
30?
30.
Would you quit for 30? I don't know.
I don't know. What about another one?
What about 40?
40. What about 40? What about 45?
For like the whole, like for entire life?
No,
Just for today.
just quit. Chick-fil-A. You get another job.
All right. Were people able to hear that one? She's working at Chick-fil-A at the drive-through window. This guy rolls up and is like, I got 45 grand. Quit your job. And I mean, he's holding bundles of cash, right? I'm just gonna say, if I was working at the Chick-fil-A and somebody walked up with 45 grand and was like, quit your job for 45 grand, I would take it. Like, I would 100% take that, because now you shouldn't. And if you take that, then you're running the risk of getting into some serious trouble. The interesting legal aspect here is that you can actually get into some difficulty with like inducing somebody to breach a contract. Now, I don't know what sort of contract they've got, but a lot of people would walk away for 45 grand, and then Chick-fil-A might actually be willing to sue over that. So yeah, it's that's just kind of the sort of wrinkle there. I see no contract, it's at will employment. Yeah, fair enough. The other thing is, I suspect, there's different jobs that you've got. Some contracts or some jobs you may have an employment contract, some, others. The other thing is, I would have been super suspicious overall. I would have had some thoughts like, hey, how do I know that this is actually how do I know that I'm actually going to get to keep this money? How do I know that this is actually something that is, that this is real money and not just like a bundle of fake bills with 100, one bill on the side of each of it. So, I mean, this article is going on about, people saying, oh, that I think the funniest comment was one person in the comments saying, had me at, would you quit your job? But yeah, and this is the other good question. Where is this money from? Guy rolls up in a, car. He's waving 45 grand in cash. He's got facial tattoos. You might be thinking, hey, I don't know what this guy's deal is. And yeah. So that's that's something there. You also might be wondering about where the where the catch is, right? Like, what is this $45,000 gonna cost you? Because there's always a price to it. But yeah, I see super sus. I smell drug dealer. If you called the cops, they would take the money under civil asset forfeiture. Yep. Is the money real? Yep. So all of those, I think, are interesting questions. But I just thought that was kind of an interesting little video. And yeah, I mean, people have asked, would I quit doing what I'm doing for 45K? And the answer is no. Not just because of, like finances or whatever, but also just because I like doing what I'm doing. I would do a lot of what I do for nothing. And the hope is to one day do it for just YouTube. So, all right. I see those guys are dicks. Yeah, they might be. Because let's say they say, hey, get you to quit your job. You quit your job, and then they're like, yeah, you're not keeping the money. So that would be another sort of concern there. All right, let's talk about another story here. I've got a few lined up, and that's part of why I wanted to do this. So swoop. All right, let's have a look at this one because this is a fun story. And by fun, I mean I'm glad it's not me. So this one is lawyer granted release in a $460 million slip and fall Ponzi scheme. It is like something out of Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. This is a fun one. All right. So he was accused of orchestrating a $460 million Ponzi scheme across the U.S., and he's been granted bail. Meanwhile, if you steal like $46 from your local, Piggly Wiggly, and I mean, I don't know, is Piggly Wiggly a real thing? I've heard people talk about that, and I'm like, is Piggly Wiggly actually a thing, or is this just a running joke that people go with? So people are saying it's a grocery store. Now the slip and fall thing, you might be thinking of, Slip and Jimmy from Better Call Saul. It's actually not that. The lawyer wasn't doing the slip and fall thing. So this guy gets bail. He's required to maintain employment, and he's not allowed to contact any of the alleged victims, and he's not allowed to have a weapon. I'm not sure why the weapon. I suspect that's just required as part of bail conditions in that area because it really doesn't seem like well, actually that's not true. Now that I look a little bit more at the story, I can see why they would ban him from having a weapon. So yeah, he was indicted last week, but he's been in custody since March of last year when he was shot and wounded by FBI agents who arrived at his $1.1 million home in Vegas to question him. He answered the door with a gun aimed at his own head, and a 4-hour standoff ensued that ended after SWAT officers entered his home. So that's exciting. How they note Mr. Beasley has languished in a Nevada Southern Detention Center for 13 months after he was shot by 2 FBI agents without a warrant in his own home. Okay, I don't know what the story is on that, but I'd like to know. All right, so lots of people are going to be wondering, what is the scam? How did he get, where's the $460 million scam? So here's the scam. And this guy was apparently living large. He's got luxury homes. He's got $1.1 million house. He apparently had a private jet. He's got recreational vehicles. If this is sounding familiar with some other lawyer stories, then you're paying attention. Because, yeah. So, basically, here's the scam. This guy tells you that he has a great investment opportunity for you. And, the company that he's saying that you've got the investment opportunity with is a company that offers short-term loans. And basically what they're saying is that they've got clients who have been, they've agreed to a settlement in a personal injury case, but they are, they're waiting for their money. They're going to get their money soon, but they want money now. So they want money now. And because they want money now, they're willing to take a loan from you, Joe Random, member of the public. You personally can give this loan. And the loan that they're offering is a 13% return in 90 days. That's a big freaking loan. So that's a huge one. But instead, what he's doing is he's running a Ponzi scheme. There aren't actually any clients. There's nobody who's actually getting these personal injury settlements. Instead, he's using the money he gets from new people to pay off the old ones and also to pay him. So, yeah, these kinds of schemes will eventually fall apart. And the reason why they fall apart is because you need an infinite number of humans in the world. And you not just humans, you need an infinite number of suckers in the world. And in fact, an ever expanding at an exponential rate. So eventually you run out of suckers and the scheme falls apart and you're done. Now, he has apparently said that he's pled not guilty. He's looking forward to a trial. But apparently during the whole standoff, he confessed to the to the negotiator. So that'll be really interesting to see how this goes. This is going to be an interesting, fun story. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. And Torin, I think I can 3D print a dice tower big enough for your new 20-sided die. I don't know that I've got room in my house for a dice tower big enough for my 20-sided die. Would you like one? Maybe a dice tower for regular dice, but this thing is like a dice tower big enough for this thing is going to be like lawn furniture. I don't know how I'd fit that in my house. Also, braiding Friday and Sunday on my channel. Guys, check out Torin's channel. I've retweeted it a few times. He's making a braid for me. He's made one for Rackets. So it is amazing work. I always love seeing craftsmen and so forth. So check that out. I see. So like a crap Girardi. Yep. That is exactly how that goes. So you need one more monkey than it took to write Shakespeare's entire bibliography on typewriters. Yes. Now, somebody was asking, am I going to cover Rust? There are some developments in them. I don't know if Rust is sort of the biggest story right now. Although the one of the developments on the Rust shooting is that Alec Baldwin has said that he's waived his right to appear at his preliminary inquiry. And so the prelim is basically, he's got a right to be there, but he said, I don't want to be there. I don't need to be there. I don't have to be there. So, and quite frankly, I think it's the right call. It's what I would do if I was involved. If I was counsel, I would certainly tell people, hey, or tell my client, like, maybe give this one a miss, right? Maybe this is not the story to, or not the one to come to. All of the reporters are going to be there trying to, snap pictures of Baldwin. They're all going to be trying to, trying to sort of capture images. They're going to try to, that. And yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I am going to try to follow the Rust trial as much as I can, but we'll just have to see. It's going to be real interesting. I think it's fascinating, but yeah. I see. Gives the Nevada DA less publicity. Yeah, they've been absolutely doing that as well. Vegan Lion. Oh my God, it's so enjoyable to watch him braid. Been watching along with him as he's making ends, and I wish I'd watched as he made rackets. And I can't wait to see how he does lawn lumber. Yeah, it's fascinating watching things be assembled by somebody with some skill. So yeah. The other development, I did a video on this one already. I did a live stream covering it. That David Halls has pled guilty and was sentenced to 6 months probation. He asked that not go on his criminal record, and that was denied. So he's got 6 months probation, but it's a real sweetheart probation. He's not allowed to drink or do drugs, and he's got to take a firearm safety course, and he has to testify at trial. That's pretty awesome. What do I think of the prosecutor asking Trump to waive his right to be present because it's expensive for the city? I mean, I'm probably not going to cover the Trump stuff just because as a Canadian, if I cover the Trump trial, I can tell you that all I'll get, my entire comment section is going to be, screw you, you're a Canadian, you don't understand. And that's just going to be a headache. So I'm going to give that one a miss. I don't see much of a reason to do that one. But, quite frankly, if they're like, hey, don't show up because it's too expensive. If I was charged with something, I would be a stubborn MF. So I would be going, it's too expensive, you say. I will be there every day. But I mean, that's just kind of how I'd be. So yeah, and so we'll just I'm not there's going to be lots of people covering that trial, covering that process. I think I'm going to leave it to them, right? I think I'm going to leave it to other people. I could make a bunch of money on it. Like, I'm sure that if I covered it, there'd be people throwing super chats my way and so forth. But I'm not really in it for the money, and I just think it's better for my sanity if I leave it. So I'll leave it. I'm gonna cover stuff that interests me, and that one really, I guess, isn't top of that list. All right, so what is it? Yeah, that's just kind of my feeling on that one. There was a comment here that I wanted to cover that's scrolled up. This is just a good comment anyway. Australia, where everything tries to kill you. Yes. Australia. I had a substitute teacher when I was in school, and the substitute teacher had just come back from doing was doing a sort of period over in what do you call it, in Australia, and his entire, he was supposed to be teaching us gym, but all he talked about was just how much he hated Australia because he kept almost dying. So that was fun. Sorry to ask if you don't want to discuss it. No worries. It was an innocent question. There's nothing there. I was just curious on if the prosecutor asking a defendant to waive their rights is improper in general. I mean, they can ask. You can say no. Nothing wrong with that. The Motley Crue case is going to get nasty. I haven't been following that one, but I should check that out just because that one's interesting. How many subscribers do you want to get to start pro bono only? I just kind of want to wait until I'm at a point where my income is kind of stable and where it's where I can sort of say, hey, this is a reliable, something where I'm not kind of jumping off a cliff, if that makes sense, and hoping to land. Anything new on the little girl and her goat story? It's going to be a long time on this one. This is a civil suit. I'm pretty sure they haven't done any of the discovery or any of that stuff. And so, yeah. Do you think C11 will affect your YouTube income? Probably. We'll have to see, but I'm really worried about what that will do. I also may have to be fundraising in order to fight a what do you call it? Fundraising in order to fight a civil case on that one. Are you going to cover the Latasha Staunch trial or Lori Daybell? I got to try to get up to speed again. I am behind, and I'm going to try to get up to speed on those ones, and then I'll decide, because I am behind the 8 ball on that. C11, that is a bill in that's a bill that's going through Canadian Parliament that is going to require YouTube to elevate within Canada Canadian content, which you might think would be great for me, right? Because I do Canadian content, right? I'm a Canadian. The problem is that it'll probably be impossible for me to actually get designated as Canadian content. And so what it'll mean is that my content gets pushed down in Canada. And a lot of my audience is Canadian because I talk about Canadian legal issues. So, yes. And I see 81 likes. No, not 81 likes. 815 likes. We're doing okay. He had me worried there. 81 likes. You're missing a digit. I was terrified. Oh no, Rob is disappointed. He's learned my terrible secret. Wait, Ian is Canadian? Since when? So I see MLS Law Show has covered it. Great if you want to get up to speed real quick. That is good. This is another, we've got a good one here from Lara M. Just a good thing to talk about. Thoughts on BBTV giving H3H3 their money? I assume, is it pronounced H3H3? Like I don't watch a whole lot of stuff. So, what do you call it? Is it H3H3 or is it he? Because it seems like it could be he. Yeah. Anyway, H3H3, basically the dispute there is that they were working with what's called a multi-channel network, BBTV. And what a multi-channel network is, if you don't know, is they are basically they're a company that you hire to take your money. That sounds bad, but it's kind of true. They promise things back in the day. Apparently, they used to be a big deal. Like they used to be essential for monetizing your channel. They used to be critical. They used to be able to get you all sorts of brand deals and so forth. Now they can't really do any of that stuff. So I've had several of these companies approach me, and they're like, "Hey," and they'll promise things like, "Hey, we can pay you right away instead of you having to wait till the end of the month." But the problem is that each of these companies want to take a cut. And the cut that they want to take, it varies. But in Ethan Klein's case, the cut off of YouTube revenue, or like Google net revenue, was 0%. But they would take a 30% cut on anything else that they could bring him. Now, the problem is whether Google subscriptions, which they would get a 0% cut of, included your memberships, right? Because like I've seen a lot of you guys signing up for memberships. That's great. It's a fantastic sort of secondary income stream for somebody like me. I'm trying to figure out, what is it? I'm trying to sort of figure out better stuff to offer you guys for that. But one of the companies that does this that reached out to me, the cut that they wanted to take was 50%. And I was like, y'all can get wrecked. But I mean, when these groups have approached me, I thought they were a scam. So you might be wondering, how does Ethan Klein, who seems like a savvy guy because he's got a 6 million subscriber channel, right? You don't get to 6 million without having a couple of brain cells in your head. So, and I mean, he runs a company. Like that 6 million subscriber channel is its whole company. It's a thing, right? And so I was like, hey, so he explained it. At the time, his AdSense was out of Israel. That caused problems for him getting paid. And so this MCN, which basically, if you have an MCN, instead of you getting paid directly from YouTube, YouTube pays the MCN. The MCN takes their cut, and then they send you the money. So that's pretty awful. So yeah, they decided that memberships were something that they got a cut of, and Mr. Klein disagreed very strongly. I did a review video, and I basically said, hey, I think Ethan Klein is right about his interpretation. And lots of you said, we don't like this guy, and I don't know who he is. Yeah, I just did the video interpretation on that one, and and somebody says 50% as in 50. You are exactly correct. 50% as in 50 is what they wanted from me, and I was like, you get wrecked. Like, I have a rake. I can tell you where you can hide it, and it's probably going to be a one-way trip. So yeah, for him, that was the benefit, is that they were, being able to pay the money to him, but they had the dispute. It's a contractual dispute. And at the end of the day, they have now decided that they're going to pay him they're going to pay him the 50 grand. or sorry, the 600,000 grand. I got 50 stuck in my head, but yeah, it's 600,000 grand. Or sorry, $600,000. And yeah, I think it was the right move on their part. I actually think they should have done it a lot sooner because, quite frankly, if he hadn't, like, if I think that they were going to get absolutely wrecked in court, and I think that their interpretation was simply untenable on the contract. It was just simply untenable. Now, I see this. Ethan Klein was right based on the timing of the contract itself. Memberships didn't exist when the contract was signed. That point actually could have gone in favor of BBTV, but it didn't. And this is a good question. Annika is saying, are you going to take part in Hogue Law's fundraiser on May 6th? I got to look that up. One of the things I've been concerned about, some people have also been asking if I am going to be, what do you call it? If I'm going to be doing talks at some of the, what do you call it? The CCFR and the CSSA. And I am. So I got to make sure that I'm not, that doesn't overlap. So what am I doing on May 6th? May 6th, it looks like I'm free. So I am putting right now in my calendar, Hogue stream, do not book for any reason. I will cut you. There we go. Quite literally, that is what I put down. My calendar now says, Hogue stream, do not book for any reason. I will cut you. I am threatening my future self with violence because that is really what it's gonna take there. From what EDB was saying, the 600K was found when he switched accountants. Yes. He actually may have had a good claim against his accountant. And he might have actually, his accountant, because accountants are professionals and they've got, so yeah, he might have been able to sue his accountant for negligence and reclaim money from them. That said, I'm pretty sure his accountant doesn't have $600,000, whereas apparently BBTV does. But yeah, they are going to have a whole bunch of sort of wrinkles coming out of there. So yeah. I see. Maybe you can raffle off something during the fundraiser. I'll have to make something to raffle off. I've got a few weeks, so I'll see about making something to do on that one. I see. No, but they carry liability coverage, so yep, that might do it. So the liability coverage is excellent there. Will you be speaking at the CCFR or other events? I will be speaking at the CCFR AGM. That is in June. I will also be speaking at the CSSA in towards the end of this month. So I got a couple of speaking engagements. I got to write a speech, folks. I haven't wrote a speech yet. So that I should do. Runkle, sorry to oh wait, we already covered that one. We covered that one as well. Between you and Rob, I've been smiling, laughing so much my cheeks hurt. That's not a bad place to be. Crazy Cat Queen, reach out. I need to know if you got your, if you got the package, because if you didn't get the package, I'm going to start making you another one. Because we made an agreement. We're going to do that. So we're going to make sure that happens. Ian could give a great speech off the cuff, probably, but I don't want to, because as much as I've had to do that at times, that is major territory. So do you get nervous public speaking? A little bit, but not nearly as much as I used to. Public speaking used to terrify the absolute crap out of me. It used to be something that just made me straight up terrified. Like I would rather jump out the window than give the speech. But I took a job teaching. I was teaching LSAT prep and then in court, and you just eventually it stops being as scary because you just got to keep doing it. So yeah, the plague mask is still lost. It appears so. It appears to be so. If I have to, I will make another one. False. I've seen Ian give a speech off the cuff. He forgets punchlines. Lol, love you. I was several drinks in. I'm just gonna say. I had a few drinks before I did that. So yeah, I was not like sauced, but yeah. Crazy Cat Queen, nope, never got it, but don't worry about it. It was a good cause. You're gonna get one, Crazy Cat Queen. That like I'm not. We're not doing that. You're getting one. 100% that is coming your way. So we're gonna make that happen. Cat Vetter, thank you very much for the gifted memberships. That's much appreciated. And I see we've got a super or a membership chat. Rob Price, hey Runkle, you're doing a great job and we'll be successful at this. Also may DM you on Twitter to see if you know any good WCB lawyers. I know a couple in Alberta, but if you're out of Alberta, then I don't think I have one. Rabbit, I hope the bill fails. We all need your spice. I hope it fails too. Talking about Bill C11 there. What is it? All right. So it looks like we've got some info on who I've got to send the other thing to. So we'll get that going. That reminds me, I've got another shirt to give away. So we're going to fire that up again. Give me a second while I fire up the shirt giveaway Otron. All right. How do I do this again? We're just going to add that here. We're going to draw again. Whoops. Nope. I have to reload. I'm not trying to draw again out of the same pool. I'm trying to do a new pool. Here we go. All right. And so I am starting to collect comments. The hashtag on this one is hashtag second shirt. Second shirt. That is the hashtag. And so the shirt that we are looking at here is this one here. It is Quality Beer, Family Business. And it says family, so it is quality time. So quality beer, quality time. And it's the Family Business Beer Company. So we've got another shirt there. Keep in mind, folks, you can only enter once. If you spam it out 60 times, all that happens is eventually I might time you out. But yeah, you can, if you hashtag second shirt, then, you only need to do it once. Now, you can do it a second time if you typo it, but don't typo it. So we're going to give that a little bit for those to go through because I got these things for the specific purpose of getting rid of them. Because, yeah, I don't really wear T-shirts that much. See somebody saying you need to sign them. I don't know how to sign this thing. I might have to figure that out if somebody wants because they're black. How do I sign a black shirt? Where in Texas did you get that? Family Business Beer Company. They're about 30 minutes out of Austin, 20 minutes. If you want me to sign it, I will try to figure out something to sign it for the kids. Oh, can you sign it, Runkle? I will figure out a way to sign it if you want me to sign it. That's probably with I'm seeing people say silver Sharpie, fabric pen, bleach pen. Okay, interesting. I will look at how to do it because, yeah. Was it? I may have created a monster with the giveaway function. Ian and I have new methods of clearing our fun projects. Yeah, I mean, I may have to spend more time in the leatherwork shop. The other option is a Cricut iron-on. That's a possibility. Jane, it's got to be one word. So if you don't make it one word, you're going to miss out. So it's got to be one word there. All right. So the other, I guess I can talk about the other giveaway I'm doing because I'm doing 2 giveaways right now. I'm giving away all the things. So this is on my other channel, and so this is on Roll of Law is the primary giveaway source for this. And I just got to make sure that I've... Yeah. I hope I didn't lose one of these because that would be a real problem. Yeah, I'm going to have to go searching. I think I'm missing one. That'll be an issue. So, what am I giving away? I am giving away on Roll of Law silver coins. 10 silver coins, which it's sort of the win Gimlet's gold thing. And, you know, because 10 silver coins in D&D is a gold coin. So, basically, I don't know if you can see this. These are silver maples. They are real silver. They are, what is it? So these are like genuine silver. These things are worth some non-trivial money. And ultimately, they're a little, I think they work out to a little less than $500 if you sell them for the silver value. If you decide instead you want to take the cash value, I can tell you that these things have a face value of $5. So don't do that because that would be dumb. That would not be a good idea. So, yeah, if you want to participate in that, I am dropping hints over on Roll of Law. Those will continue to happen over time, but yeah. And even if you don't want to participate, what I recommend, go over to Roll of Law, and I see you can't mail silver to a different country or any precious metal. I thought I could. I looked. So I thought I could. So yeah, I'll just have to figure it out. But it'll probably be, you know, a courier. It'll be all sorts of things. So it looks like it's fine. Hopefully I haven't caused trouble, because if I have, then that will be an issue. But I see that it looks like I should be okay. So yeah, we'll just have to figure that one out. Worst case scenario, I will have to, I guess, drive them across the border and then ship them from there. So yeah, I buy and sell bullion from many different countries very legally. Excellent. And if you buy and sell bullion, then you can probably recognize that, you know, these are good silver coins. Like, they've got a good reputation. They're not, and I can tell you, I haven't been sitting here filing silver off them. That's not, you know, that's not what I'm doing there. And yeah, we're, so yeah, they'll, these will hopefully get going. You think an IP law focused channel could succeed? I think an IP law focused channel has already succeeded, and that there is room in the market for another. But look up Leonard J. French. Leonard J. French, he does some great content. He mostly does, you know, IP sort of stuff. So he's talked a lot about copyright. I would love, I mean, there's a whole bunch of really cool stuff. The other thing, if you do win the silver, I am going to ship it. Somebody else asked me to see some of my leather work. I will ship it with one of these, a leather pouch. And, you know, the leather pouch, you can see it's got my, you know, I've burned in my, what do you call it? My maker's mark. I'm getting tired and I haven't been sleeping. So, I was originally going to say that I was just going to, like, put the coins in the pouch, and that I decided against, because some of the coins actually, like, this one comes with like a whole nice presentation thing. I didn't think that it was a good idea to take that out. This one here comes with like a nice little case. So if you want to put them into a pouch yourself, you can do that. But I mean, if it's coming with like a nice little presentation case, I'll ship you the presentation case. I don't have any reason to. So I'll send them in the nicest way, but I will send the pouches. And I see people asking, can they order stuff? I will probably do more giveaways. So I'm a trademark lawyer. So yeah, fantastic. Because trademark law is fascinating. Although I don't do any trademark law. I actually had to hire somebody for the trademark law that I'm doing. I'm trying to get Runkle of the Bailey as a trademark. I'm probably also at some point soon going to have to do a trademark thing for Roll of Law. Yeah, it sucks. Canadian silver maples are gorgeous. The gold maples are astonishing also. They make them in many shapes and sizes. I actually, when I did this, I originally wanted to do a gold coin. The reason why I'm not is that if the value hits a certain amount, then if you get to a certain value of the coins, then you've got a real problem or of anything you give away, because a bunch of places you just like a bunch of places start requiring you to post bonds. A bunch of places start requiring you to to do all this stuff, and I don't want to run into that those issues. So keeping it lower value, I can do more giveaways at lower value. So that's kind of the idea there. Oh, and apparently the smallest maple I own is 1/25th gold maple. Okay, that I didn't realize they did ones that small. And Rob is reminding me not to miss a super chat, so we'll go through things quickly there. Whoop, that one we covered. What's a cow after birth? Decaffeinated. Oh, Truffle Hound. That was your joke, wasn't it? We're getting into the puns. Truffle Hound, did you hear about the cannibal who used a group of lawyers to make a batch of chili sauce? I guess he wanted seasoned professionals. I thought that one could have gone so many worse directions, but there's a lot of lawyer jokes out there, so that's, I guess, one of the better ones. Nice. Beef Supreme, I haven't seen a video for this on your channel. Would you consider covering how to legally transport firearms between the US and Canada, both for those permanently moving and for trips? It's enough of a headache that when I've gone shooting in the States, I borrow guns in the States. My overalls, is Ian married? I am. Mrs. Runkle is currently downstairs not feeling the best. She's having a rest, but shucks. Sorry to disappoint. But I appreciate the thought, but no, I'm I like Mrs. Runkle. She's fantastic. So well, Fudge, don't worry about it. We'll make it happen, Crazy Cat Queen. I'm half asleep. It's almost 4 a.m. and I'm having my suhoor for I hope I'm pronouncing that right, for today's fast. That goat scream sure woke me up. I forget which holiday it is, but I know that our sort of Islam, that there's fasting going on. I've never done fasting. I've gone hungry, but I always kind of wonder about it. So, yeah. Lawn Lumber, contact Truffle Hound right away. There is some stuff that is important. I think I know what it's about, and yeah. Ramadan. So yes, I don't know if it's a happy Ramadan. I don't know what the proper thing is, but yeah, I'm impressed by people being able to do the fasting, and I know very little about it, but it's kind of cool. A lot of those observances are kind of neat. Jane Zanis, thank you very much for the YouTube membership. Rob, I may have created a monster S with the giveaway function. Ian and I have new methods of clearing our fun projects. Yes. Truffle Hound, last on one for the day. Shout out to my best buddy. Why did Secret McSquirrel hide her lottery ticket in the bushes? She was hedging her bets. Oh, but hilarious. We covered this one. Think an IP focused channel could succeed. Yes. Looks like I'm giving away the Shark Coochie board on Friday Night Frenzy tomorrow. Lol. Another reason to tune in, apart from Rob and Runkle. You should check that out. That board is hilarious. I know a good trademark lawyer in Canada. Shoot me a DM. We should talk. And yes, need to have a chat. Drop me a line. We'll sort of see what's going on there. I see people saying, if you don't mind sharing, can you tell us how you and Mrs. Runkle met or how long you've been together? If you aren't comfortable, totally understand. So we have been together for more than a decade now. So we're doing pretty good. I feel like that is that's a milestone that not a lot of people necessarily reach. And so far we like each other. She's not not looking to murder me, at least that I know of. But how did we meet? We met at a friend's birthday party. So and I love telling this story, so I will always tell this story. We were at this birthday party and we're doing laser tag. Now, unbeknownst to her, I was pretty serious about laser tag. I used to go to that laser tag arena all the time, and that entire day I cleaned house. I'm just gonna say it. I cleaned house, like in the sense of most people's scores on that. Like the second scoring people were at like 2,000 points, and I was rocking like 3,000 points. I used to be really good at laser tag. I'm not as good at at 3-gun or anything like that, but I was really good at laser tag. And I was a keener. We'll go with that. So I'm stomping around this laser tag field going, I am going to win. Meanwhile, what she tore the back of her pants open. She caught them on one of the boards and just split her pants. So I'm running around and I keep one of the things about laser tag strategy is you want to encounter a lot of people. A lot of people decide that they're going to snipe, and I don't think sniping is a great strategy because it pins you down, and you want to be churning through people. Any time that you're sitting there not encountering people is time that you are that you're wasting. So because the back of her pants was now split open, she was sitting down in these laser tag things, which is against the rules, but I didn't care about the rules. I just cared that I get to shoot her every time I passed. So I'm walking but it meant that I noticed her, right? Because she's sitting there. And so I'm just cruising by and I kept noticing that she was there. And I was like, okay, she seems like she's having a good time. She didn't admit what was going on. But so after the laser tag, she the round ends, she books it out of there, right? She's just gone. And I was like, who was that? And I just never known, so people saying, tell me you did not shoot her with a tag. Friends, I lasered her every time I passed, literally every time. So I'm pretty sure I shot her a dozen times. You didn't help her. I didn't know she was in need of help. I would just walk past. She's sitting there and I'd be like, shoot, and keep going. So I didn't know that she was, having trouble there. So she, but I kind of noticed that she was there. And so anyway, after this, the party ends, I'm sort of asking my friend, hey, I'd never seen her around in our circle of friends. Who is that? And it's like, oh, she's from one of my philosophy classes and so forth. I see, not nice. It's the game. It's what the game is about. You laser people as you go. So and yes, Jess J is noting she bolted like Cinderella, and Ian was instantly intrigued. Loved it. What a great story. Oh, the story keeps going. So why did she talk to you again? She wasn't upset. I mean, she was playing. She lasered me too. I walked around a corner and she's sitting there and she tags me. So yeah, we were both just playing the game, having a good time. She was having as much of a good time as you can have when you're also not wanting to show your underwear to random people. So Anyway, after this, I get pink eye. And my pink eye was gross. Like it was, so picture that as you hear this part of the story. So on Twitter, it's at Ian Runkle is the best way to do that. So a friend is saying, come out to see a movie. And I'm like, I am not feeling it. I do not feel like going to see this movie because, you got pink eye. You're going to be sitting there staring at a screen for however many hours. And he's like, come on out. And I'm like, I don't want to. Finally, I'm like, who else is going to be there? And guess who else is going to this movie? So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to saddle up. I'm going to go. And this was stupid because if you're thinking, hey, I'm interested in this person, really the way you want to meet them is when you've got this like gross inflamed eye. But that was my level of game at the time. So we go off, we watch this movie, and it was Hero, the like China propaganda film. It was tolerable and weird. So we watched this movie, and afterwards we go out and we are having we're having a sort of a snack in a place. And so I'm sitting there chatting with her, and keep in mind, I look disgusting, but she's putting up with me talking to her. And so I go and say, hey, like, like I'm trying to talk to her, and I find at this point that she's interesting to talk to. I'd noticed that she was attractive when I was tripping over her, but now it's like, holy crap, she's intelligent, she's charming, I am interested. So, she's like, I need a ride home. I'm across town. And I'm like, yo, I got a car. So, now my car at the time was a Mazda 323. And this Mazda 323 was an old Mazda 323, and further did not actually have a radio in it because I got this from my grandmother. So this car is super old and super yeah. So I'm driving her in my fancy, not at all fancy car. But one of the things that I sort of did at the time was I used to go for sushi every year for my birthday. And the reason why is I just like that as a birthday thing. But the person I had been planning on going with at my birthday had flaked out, so I hadn't gone. So I was like, hey, I still haven't gone for the sushi thing. Would you like to join me? And she's like, yes, I will join you. Now, so I'm thinking, hey, that's pretty cool. Now we are going for sushi. We have got a date going on. Things are moving. So, because I was like a shy guy. So I'm thinking, great. Now, here's the flip side. She had told me about her live journal. We're putting this in a historical context here, but I didn't look it up. And it's a good thing I didn't look it up because what she posted on her live journal was, hey, this guy has asked, we're going for sushi, but I think it's just a friend thing. And I hope he's not looking to put the moves on me because I'm really not interested. That was what she posted on her live journal. I didn't check that. And it's a good thing because I would have been like, hey, we've got some cross communication. If you're not interested, let's just call it a day. People are saying, what's LiveJournal? LiveJournal is like a blogging site that is no longer in operation. But yeah. So I didn't know this at the time. I didn't know that was the deal. And so we go for sushi, and I'm taking her to my favorite ever sushi place. And by the way, Mrs. Runkle is now I heard her moving around outside. I can feel her eye roll because she rolls her eyes when I tell this story. I can feel it through the wall. And I just heard her laugh. So yes. So I'm taking her to my favorite sushi place. Now, at the time, she liked to eat really early, 5 p.m. And I like to eat a little later, like 7 p.m. And we'd compromised on we're going to eat at 6. So we arrive at this sushi place for 6 p.m. and they're closed because it's Tuesday. Now, here's the moment where I went, okay, I'm really interested, because I had been out with other women, and this is the point where, with a lot of people, this would have been contentious. She's already hungry. I've just taken her to a closed restaurant, but we're laughing about it as we drive across town to my second favorite sushi place. And they thankfully are open. So we stop at my second favorite sushi place, and it was, I mean, the food is good, but the service that day was weird. There were male servers and female servers, and the male server would come by, take her order, and then leave and not talk to me. And the female server would come by and take my order and leave and not talk to Mrs. Runkle. So that was weird. We were sort of laughing about how that was weird. So after that, we're kind of feeling it, right? We're in the groove. This is a good, we're having a good good time, even though everything is going wrong. Everything's going wrong. So we go and we're like, let's go see a movie. And we decide to go to the cheap theaters, because why not? Now, the cheap theaters had 2 options that day. Option number 1 was Lilo and Stitch, which is a perfectly acceptable, fun kind of silly movie, right? But Mrs. Runkle had seen it. So she was like, I'm down to see it again. It was a good movie. And I'm like, no, if you've seen it, we'll watch the other one, which is on me. This was a bad choice, because the other one is a movie called The Forgotten. And people are saying, I hope your pink eye was over at this point. It was. Pink eye was done. So they say 2 servers for the same table. It was like an all-you-can-eat sushi place. So they had like a dozen servers, and they just wander around. And so you didn't really have like a dedicated server. They would just, so anyway, we went and saw The Forgotten. Now, if you haven't seen The Forgotten, I'm going to spoil it for you because it's terrible. The lead actress had a kid, like her character had a kid, and then somehow they have a conspiracy to try to make her forget that her kid ever existed. And so she's going around telling everyone, like, what about my kid? And they're like, you never had a kid. You're crazy. And so then she starts uncovering that there's a conspiracy. And as she's uncovering this conspiracy, yes, it was Julianne Moore, she spends a lot of time like falling down hills and like stairs and stuff like that, but her hair is perfect all the time. Every single moment, even when she's just like tumbling down a leaf field, her hair comes up and it's like just out of a salon. So we're laughing about that because the movie is so god awful that we have to laugh at it in order to keep your sanity. We are mocking the crap out of this movie. And so finally she's got this guy pinned down, this like an FBI agent or some sort of agent figure, and she's got him tied to a chair. They're in this cabin in the middle of nowhere. They're breaking out the blowtorches. They're breaking out the they got the pliers. They're going to get some answers from this guy. And literally this guy, the roof opens up and this guy is sucked physically into space. Space vacuum. It's a plot point. The guy gets sucked into space. And I'm going, are you effing kidding me? You're sucking this guy. Like, it is the most ex machina of Deus ex machinas you can imagine. So the movie somehow keeps going, and I would tell you there's more plot, but there really isn't any plot that you will care about by the time you walk out of there. It's so god awful, but we're able to just keep laughing about this because what else are you going to do? The movie was so bad. So, we go and we have dessert, and the dessert was perfectly acceptable. But, you know, this is one of those dates that just keeps going. And I see somebody saying it was all aliens, wasn't it? Of course it was aliens, right? You got people getting sucked into space. Did you hold her hand? I did not. We just laughed at the movie. So we end up back at her place. And they are, because you know how this is one of those dates that everything has been going wrong, and yet kind of it's still working out. They are doing sewer maintenance outside of her apartment. Like literally, they have carved up the streets, and so there's like these big carve outs, and there's open sewage, like open to the air. So I will tell you, there was an odor to our hanging out. There was a particular fragrance. Yeah, it smelled like poop, folks. It smelled like Amber Heard had gotten there first. So and I guess we should probably run this because we're at past 2 hours. We can do this. So yes, we are still hanging out, even though it smells like poop. And we chat until like 3 a.m. And finally we sort of go our separate ways. And remember how I said I was kind of a shy, nerdy, you know, I did not kiss her goodnight. I just, you know, I headed out, but I was still feeling pretty good about how things went. I was like, this is awesome. And then I do the stupid thing. I get home, I'm feeling really good, and I remember that she'd given me her live journal. Right? So, I remember that she had given me the live journal, and so I decided, you know what? I think she's pretty awesome. I'm gonna check out her live journal. And that's when I see her post, because it was 3 a.m. She just went to bed. Like, she didn't update the post or anything like that. She just posted, hey, I hope this guy doesn't try to hit on me because, like, I'm not interested. And I went, motherfucker. Because I was sitting there going, like, if this wasn't us connecting, I need to just give up on dating entirely and, like, move into the forest and become a monk. Because if this wasn't us hitting it off, then I don't know what hitting it off means. And I will never understand dating. I just, like, screw it. I give up. So that was how I went to bed. And I wake up the next day and I'm like, what the hell do I do about this? So I reach out over ICQ because, again, this story is way back in time. And I'm like, hey, so let's talk about last night. Now, here's the thing. She, in her head, has come to a very different conclusion, which is she's like, I have been digging on this guy all night. And then he didn't try to kiss me on the way out. So he must have just been interested in being friends. And I was kind of leaning in on that and whatever. And so I'm like, hey, let's talk about what was going on last night. And she's like, I am so sorry. And I'm like, why are you sorry? She's like, well, because I was being a little forward. And I'm like, let me just stop you there. I am interested. Are you also interested? And she's like, yes, I am. So I was like, cool, excellent. We are good to go. So further dates happened. Now, it doesn't end here in the things going wrong, because things continue to go wrong. And so I get people in the chat asking what ICQ is. So ICQ is, so it was a system for messaging people. And basically, it was, so back in the day, if you were online, there wasn't like Facebook Messenger or any of that stuff. And there wasn't even like Facebook or anything else. What it would do, it would send a message directly over to somebody via a direct message. And at the time, this was the top thing, right? This This was game changing. So ICQ was a huge deal back then. So anyway, we have several more dates, and at some point, we get together in a fashion that I will, you know what I mean. So after that, I get sick. And by sick, I mean really, really sick. I was sleeping like passed out unconscious in my bed, you know, suffering for 20 hours a day. I would wake up briefly, spend an hour awake, have some soup, and then pass out again. And I did this for several months. I actually lost an entire semester of school. And I got tested for everything because when you are sick like that, and it was almost certainly mono. But when you are sick like that, they test you for everything. And I tested negative for mono, but ultimately my doctor was like, yeah, it's almost certainly a false negative. They happen. So she's like, hey, when are we going to do a thing again? And I'm like, I can't. I am super sick. I am sleeping. And she's going, sure you are. Like, if it sucked, just tell me it sucked. So I was just like, no, seriously, I really am into you. Please don't assume that I am, please don't assume I'm vanishing. I don't know what's going on. I'm super sick. And so yeah, like I literally lost a semester of school. I had to get like a compassionate withdrawal so that it wouldn't count as fails across my entire semester and blow up my GPA. But she's like, listen, if you're this sick, come on over and I will take care of you. And I was like, I have got to drive over there because otherwise, like, I'm going to lose her. So I drove over there and she's like, okay. So she, parks me in a bed. I'm sitting there. And I pass out. I wake up in 16 hours, like literally 16 hours. She's got chicken soup on the stove. She feeds me some chicken soup, some toast, and I eat, I pass out, I'm gone for like another 10 hours. And I wake up and she's like, here's the thing. I believe you that you are genuinely sick, but go home. Like, you can't just be here passed out sick for, it was like a month and a half that I was just completely out. And then I was like, hey, I'm feeling better. Can we start this up again? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. So we got back to dating, and that turned into eventually she moved, like she had school, and so she came out to Edmonton. I followed her after a bit. And when I say I followed her, I was kind of dragging my feet on taking too long to follow her out. So she came and rented a trailer and drove out to Vancouver to load up all my stuff and was like, you are coming to Edmonton. We're making it out here. So I, then I'm, here in Edmonton. She stuck with me through law school, and that is a whole that's a whole thing. Yeah, and we eventually, we got married. We haven't regretted that a bit, and we just keep going. So yeah, I can tell you the story of proposing because that was entertaining. It continues to be on the scheme of everything goes wrong and yet goes right. So she knew that I was going to propose before I did. And the way she knew is that I was looking online at rings, and I had what I thought was a very clever hidden bookmark of like the rings I was planning to, I was looking at, right? I had like a dozen rings that I was looking at. So the one day I go and I'm doing some more shopping for rings, and I look through the bookmarks, and it's like a quarter the size. The whole bookmark folder, like the bookmark folder, has shrunk dramatically. because what she did is she got on my computer and she deleted all the bookmarks for rings that she didn't like. And so she was just like, delete, delete, delete. And she didn't say anything. She was just like, and so I was just like, I kind of looked over at her the one day and she's like, mm-hmm. And I was like, all right then, fair enough. And I mean, that kind of signals something, right? When it's like clearly she is also interested. And I see people saying, I have forgotten about the shirt. Let's do the shirt. Let us do the shirt here, and then I'll continue with the story here. So we're going to do the draw. Ludmilla, congratulations. Shoot me a DM on Twitter. I am just going to make a note here. I'm just marking this one. So, yes, that is how I knew that she was also interested, which was good because, again, still kind of shy and nervous and so forth. So, I plan this out. I don't want to propose during, I want to propose after my exams because, if she says no, that would suck mid-exams, right? I want to, and so I arrange, I'm like, I will, I've got a day. So I look at when exams are done and I see that there is the perfectest day. And the reason why is because there is going to be a meteor shower. So I have this great plan to, I'm going to take her out. I'm going to propose under the meteor shower. It's going to be fantastic. So that is my game plan. And so this is my idea. So I'm sitting there. I've got, she is coming back from work and I have arranged a very special evening. I've got live crab, but she's coming home and she tells me that she's coming back, in, and then she's got to run an errand, right? She's got to go and she'll be back in an hour. So I'm sitting there and she's going to be here for 15 minutes. I've got these live crab. I have stuffed them into a cupboard that's next to my computer. And she's sitting there going, she's talking to me, and these crab don't want to sit there and be still. So at some point she looks away and I actually open up the cupboard and shake the crab so that they'll settle down so that, so that she doesn't figure out what's going on. So finally, she goes out and she's running off to an errand and I get to work. I pull out, all the crab come out. I've got, I've got fondue, fruit fondue. So I make the chocolate sauce that's going. I've got the water boiling for the crab. I don't put the crab in because I figure those will be better if she's, I don't want, if she's a little late, then that'll be fantastic. And then she decides that she is going to, she's like, I'm running one errand. So she decides that she's going to run several errands. So I'm sitting there waiting as I've got all of this stuff going. And I'm like, where the hell is she? Because she's just gone for the longest time. And this is, neither of us had a cell phone at this point. We are just so I have no way to reach out and be like, when are you going to be here? So I've got this entire plan ready to go. And yeah, you didn't tell her you had dinner. No, it was going to be a surprise, that there's this big dinner and whatever else. So finally she comes home and she's like, okay, because I've got crab and, fondue. And she's like, something's going on. I'm like, I'm just glad exams are done, right? So we have a great dinner. And then I'm like, I would like to, I said, hey, there's a meteor shower. Let's go see the meteor shower. And she's like, okay. So I've loaded her into the car now, and I have hidden in the back. I've got the ring and I've got flowers. Those are hidden. But now we're driving out and it's cloudy. It's real cloudy because in the meantime, like clouds have rolled in. So I'm going like, this was supposed to be a real romantic meteor shower, and instead we're just kind of circling around here. And I'm like, dang it. So eventually she's like, so what's going on? So I'm like, yeah. So I pull over at the side of the road and I'm like, there are supposed to be like meteors and stars and all of this, and the world is not cooperating. But you know, so I proposed at the side of the road, and it was supposed to be beautiful meteor showers and whatever else, and it totally wasn't. But yes, she says yes, and then we're like, all right, back we go. And so all the time throughout our entire relationship, we have these moments where things are just everything is going wrong, right? Everything is going, the universe is throwing everything it can at us, and we are just we're rolling with the punches. And that was really the moment, like on our first date, when all of these things were going wrong, and she's able to smile through it and work. It was, even at that first date, it was like, I feel like I've got a teammate here, like somebody who's on my side, where we're working together on this one. And I can tell you, there's a lot of people out there who, when stuff starts going wrong, it feels like the person you're with is against you, right? It feels like that person is part of your problems instead of part of your solutions. And when I saw that she was like, that 100%, no matter how much things were going wrong, we were just more and more having fun with it and more enjoying ourselves. Seriously, first date, I was like, I think I'm going to marry this girl. First date. So straight up, was it love at first sight? I mean, we were hanging out with friends and so forth beforehand, and I was going, I'm interested. But it was that first date when I was like, I could see this being, I hope that this is the last girl I go on a date with. I hope that this is it. So, and so far, yeah, it's so love her to bits. It's just kind of how that goes. So yeah, it was and I love sharing this story. I will tell it to people at the drop of a hat. I see, can you bring her on, please? First, she's not feeling well, and second, she doesn't want to do the sort of YouTube thing. So she's probably not going to show up on a stream or anything. Or I see people asking for pictures. I've got some great pictures. I got a picture right there. One of my wedding pictures is right up on the wall right there. But I'm not going to turn the camera around just because, that's her call to make. People have said, how long have we been together? We've been together more than a decade now. And yeah, quite frankly, I hope we're there together all the way to the end. So yeah, it's you never really know what to expect. I went to a friend's birthday party to play laser tag, and I was like, I'm gonna kick some butt at laser tag, and met my future wife. So yeah. See, bring her on with no camera, audio only. We can tell her how amazing she is. I will ask her if she's ever interested, but yeah, one day, maybe. Not today. She's not feeling well. It's not the greatest. Can we see the ring? I can probably take a picture of the ring sometime, because yeah, I don't think she's going to be upset by that. The ring was like an antique like an estate ring. So and it's primarily sapphire rather than diamond because I kind of like sapphires more than diamonds. So yeah, yeah, I mean, there's lots of people, lots of bitterness out there on the internet, lots of like anger and so forth. You'll get discussions, people who are upset with their partners, upset with exes, upset with people in general, or the that's not my thing. I'll say there's great people out there, and um, you just got to look for it, and you also have to be willing. The other thing is that you also have to be willing to you make a relationship, you build it. You don't it's not something where, like, a lot of people talk about, like, I'm gonna meet the one, like, and then it'll be perfect, and I had that experience. But you have it in part because both of you are working together to build something. And when I say working, I mean working, right? You're actually um, you know there's gonna be hard times, and if you have to work together through those hard times, and that's just so that's it. And I mean, she's put up with all sorts of my crazy stuff when I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna start doing YouTube. She's like, all right. It's not even the top 10 craziest things you've done, so go nuts. When I burned the heck out of my hand doing something stupid, and she was like, she's the funniest thing. I burned my hand. I'm outside. We had a little like tiny fish pond, like a foot by 3 feet. I've got my hand dunked in this fish pond. I yelled to her, "Call 911." She's like, "Why?" And I'm like, I said, "Call an ambulance." She's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Ambulance first, why later?" And she's like, "Yeah, that makes sense. I'll call." So she calls and then came out with the cell phone going like, "What did you do?" And stuff like that. It was, just you know, kind of fun stuff. Um, does she like your leatherwork projects? Do you make her things? I need to make her. I owe her a bunch of things because here's why I haven't. And this is going to sound really stupid. Every time I try, it's not perfect enough. And so it's just like I want to make her something, and I want it to be just the best possible. And yeah. So what did you do to the hand? I burned myself with some smoke powder. Um, how did you burn your hand in a pond? I burned my hand, and then after I burned my hand, I dunked it in the pond to like stop the burning. So the pond was the closest water. It was just like fire on hand, need water, sploosh. And because it was a like little backyard pond, I got all the tetanus shots. They're like, when was your last tetanus vaccination? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, then it's today. So yeah, it was good times on that. But yeah, pond water sounds like an infection. I got all the antibiotics too. It was like, you're getting all the stuff. So let me sort of cover some of the super chats here. There should be a How I Met Mrs. Runkle series. The thing is I feel like it would be a bad series because there's just not enough drama. All of those romantic comedies and so forth are built on drama, and we kind of talked through all our drama, where you've got like that. We had that whole miscommunication about whether that first date was a first date. In a rom-com, that's going to be something where it's like, oh, well, this is no, we just talked it out. Right. And we've had a lot of stuff where it's like, we'll just talk stuff out. And that's not really how rom-coms end. Like, it's not just like, oh yeah, we don't know what's going on. So yeah, I feel like it would be a bad movie. Truffle Hound, it's pretty effing cute watching Ian's face light up telling this story. You two are awesome. Laser Tag is also awesome. Stay awesome, chat. Thank you very much. KBB Studios, Ian, I want you to and Kurt to review Daniel Perry's conviction, the governor's push for a speedy path to pardon, and what the actual F is. Wokety woke mayor, I heard Colin Noir say. I don't know what's going on, so I'll have to check that one out. But that's not a bad idea. Best story ever from Against the Tide. Thank you very much. Slim Jim Slim. Runkle was Sleeping Beauty, woken up by a kiss. Yep. People were asking if I gave her mono. She probably gave me the mono because she'd actually had mono and gotten over it like a week prior to me meeting her. I didn't know that, but she probably got me. I don't hold it against her. So is this why no sleeping? Used up the hours already? It might be. Maria, thank you very much. It's much appreciated. Penny Ottawa, such a romantic story, Ian. Your love shines through, funny and moving. It's just one of those great stories, right? It's just everything works out amazingly. Slim Jim Slim, thank you very much for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Rachel Duick, amazing story. She sounds fantastic. I kind of think she's pretty amazing. That's kind of my feeling on that one. Law and Lumber, thank you very much. Cheers to Mrs. Runkle, and thank you for the story. My favorite by far. Love the whole Runkle fam, pups included. Although Zora needs to chill with the Ethernet cable attacks. Remind me when I get done the super chats, because I will tell you the latest in the Zora versus Cable saga. So there is an update. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. I'm sorry. Tilo, good choice on the Sapphire. De Beer started the whole diamond thing, and it's BS. Yeah, I don't even think diamonds look that nice. Zebra Z, first time super chatting here. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. You had me with this, this is the last girl I hope I date. This has been my favorite Runkle stream. I love a guy with a plan, even if Mother Nature doesn't cooperate. Oh, thank you. It's just, you get that feeling. And it hasn't gone away. I've never sort of looked around and been like, I think things would be better somewhere else. That's not the feeling I've got. Secret Labs customer support, Laser Bully, Pink Eye, and you were sitting wrong, and she married you anyway. That is my favorite running joke. So yeah, it's I guess people were wondering what the and Susan Davidson is saying, who won the coin and the purse? That giveaway is on Roll of Law, so you'll have to check out the rules for that one. People are saying, what happened to the crabs? When she got back, we ate them. They went into the hot water, and yeah, so they were delicious. Putting this in a super chat to guarantee you read it. She doesn't want what you make. She wants the person who put the heart into the thing you wanted to make for her. Us men are smart and dumb at the same time. I gotta actually get on that and make a purse. So now people wanted to know the next thing in the Zora saga. So I've got a cable running. My garage, which is where my shop is, has no internet, and in fact is kind of an internet black hole. So in order to get internet in there, I have run an Ethernet cable. It literally goes out that window right there, and then outside into the into the garage. So Zora has successfully destroyed a series of cables that I have run, and so I've had to buy those cables repeatedly in order to replace them after Zora destroyed them. So currently, the cable is running outside, and I've got boards on it. And those boards are holding the cable down so that Zora cannot destroy it. Now, I just want to tell you guys the update because I noticed this earlier today. So I went out, and the boards are still out there. The cable is still out there. I think it's still intact. And yes, I'm planning on burying some conduit. I'm going to do it properly when the ground is thawed. And in the meantime, I am planning on running a cable overhead. I just need Mrs. Runkle's help, and I need it to not be too icy to put up a ladder. Because if I put up a ladder on ice, I will die. I noticed some ground disturbance, we will say. And keep in mind, the ground is still frozen. So digging in this is super, super challenging. Zora dug next to where the wire is being run with the boards over top of it to protect it. She has tried to dig underneath the boards like some sort of great escape stuff, and she almost got to the cable. She got real close. So I had to move those boards over to try to like move them away from the hole. And I'm just like, dog, I love you. You are the sweetest. Like earlier when I went for a nap, she was, she sort of parked her head like on my back there. She's just like, oh, she's the sweetest dog. But oh my God, is she evil? Like straight up evil. Because, yeah, people have said I should put hot sauce on it. The problem is Zora is absolutely my dog. I have tried feeding her hot sauce, and she loves the hot sauce. So I don't know. So she might end up destroying another cable. And if she does, I know you guys are going to laugh, and you guys are entirely entitled to laugh because, yeah, I don't know why. Now, let me tell you the other thing about Zora. So Mrs. Runkle said, hey, we have a problem because Zora figured out that how to open the back door. So we actually had to put a childproof lock on the back door. Childproof lock. Because she figured out how to unlock the back door, work the handle, and get out. And she keeps trying to do that. So because she keeps trying to do that, she climbs up and she claws at the childproof lock. Now, let me tell you how good she's gotten at opening doors. I can see daylight through my back door now because she has literally dug a hole through my back door into sky. And at this point, the hole is like too small to stick your little finger through. But it's going to get bigger. So I've already had to make arrangements to try to get a new door because she's going to just straight up eventually dig her way through my back door. And I can tell you the next one is going to be like a big, ugly ass metal door. It's going to be just something that is because like, can she really dig through metal? And you know what? I'm kind of afraid that the answer might be yes. I'm kind of afraid that that she might figure that out. So, yeah, she's totally winning. I see. Okay, call a truce and install a doggy door. I'm in Edmonton, and you know how cold Edmonton gets outside? A doggy door is a great way to just vent heat into space. I don't want to do that. So, like a doggy door at 40 below is terrible. So, yeah, so people are saying, hope your backyard is fenced. It is. So, but I don't know what to make of this dog trying to escape that thoroughly. People are saying, does she need more enrichment? We play with her a lot. She just, so. And Trufflehound is saying, put me in, coach. I'll rebuild your house. We are planning to rebuild our house at some point. So, yeah. Doggy door is cheaper to replace than your whole door, and vents about the same. We might have to do it. The other thing is that like Potter is so big that if I have a dog door that is big enough for Potter to go through, it's also big enough for like a burglar to go through. So I kind of feel like that is not the greatest of security. I don't really like the idea that I could go out and somebody could just climb through that. What does Zora want at 40 below outside? She plays in it. It's like so cold that like I feel like my eyeballs are freezing out of my skull, and she plays with it. So like she goes out there and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna play, and I'm like, no. So yeah, it's I see peoples are getting in. This is not a solution. Yeah, I don't feel like the dog door is the greatest of options, but yeah, it's just an open invite for robbers. I locked myself out of house once, utilized doggy door to get back into my keys. Not my finest moment. Yeah, I feel like it's yeah. Somebody's saying I should look into some of the doggy puzzles or something else that you can think through and figure it out. There's a lot of I got her a dog puzzle. I got her like this thing that you got to take steps to get the treats out. She had all the treats out in like 6 seconds. She just looked at it, she solved it, and she just ate all the snacks. She's way smarter than any dog has any right to be. And yeah, she's super sweet, but oh my god, is she trouble. She's just the best. That's really sort of what it comes down to. So all right, I should probably wrap this up. I think I've covered all the stories I was looking to cover here. And I've still got this I'm gonna be playing with this because this is super cool. So and I don't know if I did a proper review of this scotch. It's quite tasty. So all of the scotches that I had all of the whiskeys I had at the Whiskey Tribe were solid. So and are you gonna have a deadbolt on the top of the door so she can't reach? I'm gonna try. So I got to figure out how to armor this thing, and that's going to be sort of my next steps there. Somebody saying which whiskey? Where did I put that bottle? Distillery is Real Spirits, and it's their straight malt whiskey. It is really good stuff. I quite like it. It's 115.2 proof, and it goes down really smoothly. So it's a whiskey with a high alcohol content that just no doesn't feel like the bite there. Did you like any of the Buc-ee's jerky? I had their ghost pepper, I had their hot and spicy, and I had their garlic. All of them were awesome. All of the Buc-ee's jerky was actually quite good. So I see FYI sent you a Twitter DM, RE trademark lawyer. I will look at that as soon as I can there. I will look into that. So I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Nicholas Starro, my girlfriend is an ER nurse. Year in, we discovered we met before a few times, and we've met there after we got together. Farming can pull and break things. Yeah, there's a great TikTok. It's Dr. Glockenschmerz or whatever it is. He's got one where there's a farmer there, and it's like, oh, there's a farmer, he's fine. Then it's like, wait, he came in on his own, not with his wife. Oh God, it's serious. Like, prep the ER, prep everything. So I love that one. He does great content. So, and this is a good comment. Snagglepuss, ladders are the top predator of middle-aged white men. Ask any ER doc, be careful. I straight up looked at it and I said, the ground is too icy. I am not doing this until it de-ices. And I will eventually do it. Like, I got to get up there to run that cable. I'm going to do that when Mrs. Runkle is there to to hold the ladder and maybe catch me if I fall. Yes, and Dr. Glockenflecken is great. He's fantastic. So, all right. That I think is everything we're looking to cover there. I'm going to have an update as well to on the GWAX lawsuit soon. There's been some interesting developments. I got my GWAX right here, but we will do some things on the GWAX lawsuit. So I guess that'll be how we wrap up. I will run the GWAX trailer if I've got it handy. I think I do. I don't. All right. I will run it another time. So thank you guys. And it looks like Nick and Gosney are on Rumble. Go check that out. That'll be a good time. And yeah, see you guys next time. All right, where's my outro? There we go. Outro button.